The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Yes, speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. It is Overreaction Monday, October 4th, 2021, years after 0. Let's get into it. This is one of my favorite days of the week because everything we will say for about the next 3 hours and change on Sirius XM Channel 82 Mad Dog Sports Radio and at youtube.com/the Pat McAfee Show is meant to be viewed as an overreaction because this is what you get to do whenever you live and die with the NFL. Whenever your team is so up and down, you don't know what's going to happen. On Monday, it is completely okay and expected, especially around these parts, for you to lose your mind, say things that aren't necessarily sane, and then move on into Aaron Rodgers Tuesday, Wednesday, then build back hope for what the weekend that is week 5 will be for your team. Today, there's a lot of things to chat about. Congrats to the Jets and Giants.
Yeah. New York.
Hey, the Jets and Giants, the teams in the tri-state area over there actually in New Jersey were completely defeated until just yesterday. 2 overtime games. 1, the Giants get a massive win over the Saints. What the fuck are the Saints?
Good question.
No clue.
We don't know. Giants get a win over the Saints. Danny Dimes throws for 400 yards. Saquon Barkley seems to be back. Good for them. And then, obviously, we watch every single second of that Jets game, all the way through overtime. And the issue that I had with that is not only did my Super Boost lose because the Tennessee Titans, who have a guy who's a freight train in the second half of every game, Derrick Henry, they start throwing the fucking ball. You got no wide receivers. Just keep giving the ball to Derrick Henry for whatever reason, so our Super Boost loses. Okay, and then we don't even get to watch the entire Steelers-Packers first quarter because Sunday ticket, yes, I have it. And yes, my local game was the Colts getting back on track against the Dolphins. The Dolphins stink.
Oh.
Yes, they do.
Listen, I'm a Dolphins guy. I said it.
Oh, yeah.
I was up there I was up there on Cuck Mountain down there in Dolphin Fins Up thing, and then I said, hey, I appreciate the passion of the Dolphins fan base. I respect it. I did some research. Haven't won in a long time, but it did feel like, hey, here we go. B-Flow's the guy. Colts, 1 sprained ankle in the quarterback. Okay, Carson did not play their best game. Jonathan Taylor's an absolute stud. Paris Campbell made some plays. Michael Pittman, how you doing? Keep it moving. Nyheim Hines is playing. I don't know if it was a good game by us by any means, but, I mean, we handled the Miami Dolphins.
Smacked them around.
That's great news because the Colts are supposed to be a good team. But anyways, that game ends. All of a sudden, now it's time for Packers-Steelers on the national game. CBS have Sunday ticket down there. Packers-Steelers, like 7:17 or something. Oh, it is not on this channel, actually, because it's a national game up there on CBS. But for some reason, I got to watch the Jets-fucking-Titans game all the way through overtime. Longest overtime of all time. They reviewed something that didn't matter.
Never again.
That can't happen.
Nope.
Never again.
Done with it.
Anyways, in that game that we had to wait to see the second quarter, it didn't really matter because, I mean, the only thing we missed, I think, was the positive of the Pittsburgh Steelers, which was Deontay Johnson on a 45-yard thing. The Green Bay Packers seem to be all the way back in control. And are the Steelers dead? Is Ben Roethlisberger dead? People are saying Ben Roethlisberger should be benched. I even saw a comparison to, no, he deserves a victory lap, they're saying. Like, this guy deserves one last rodeo. This guy deserves one last time around the Yellowwood 500, which was delayed to today, actually, because of the rainstorm. But he deserves one last lap, and it's like, is Ben Roethlisberger the problem? Is the scheme the problem? 4th and 4, 4th and 5, throwing checkdowns behind the line of scrimmage. Is that on Ben, or is that on the offense that's being called? People have to ask these questions. And then obviously last night after that game, Tom Brady enters the stadium just the same way Adam Vinatieri did, with the mass holes cheering for him. Now, Vinny did not get a Vinny chant or a Vinatieri chant. There was a Brady chant that went on for what seemed to be 4 or 5 minutes there. Yeah. Thank you, Tom. A lot of 12 jerseys out there, a lot of photos going on there. And I wondered, I was like, wait a minute, are they going to go, are are they cheering for Tom this entire game?
Yeah,
That's what I started thinking.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Tom comes on the field for the first play of the game or whatever. The boos rain down from the heavens. Tom missed a couple throws. I do believe there are some things that potentially happened in there, but ultimately, in the end, Tom Brady got a chance to do what he has done so often, especially in Foxborough, lead them on a game-winning drive, kick a field goal, take a lead. Oh, my God, Patriots still have time. What are they going to do? Nick Folklore, the folk legend.
Hell yeah.
I had no idea he still had that in his bag, baby. Hits a 56-yarder off the left upright. Oh, my God. Even if he makes that 55 seconds, 2 timeouts, Tom Brady getting the ball in Foxborough. Let's assume we all know how that might have ended. But an incredible game. Let's talk about that, and then we'll dive into the rest of the week with the boys here at the Toxic Table at Boston Connor. I FaceTimed you a few times through that game last night. You were sweating bullets. You were stressed out. Even when the Patriots had the lead, and it seemed like they were not going to get blown out, just whether it was scheme-wise or anything else like that. Last night was tough for you. It was difficult, but I feel like you lost the game, but I feel like mentally you won, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay. I thought
oh
so.
my
I
gosh.
thought so,
I'm so glad it's over, first and foremost. We don't have to deal with that, hopefully, ever again. Like you just said, I was expecting a 38-10, 38-3 absolute stomping of the Patriots. That didn't happen. Mac Jones had 19 straight completions. He played very well first primetime game. The whole storyline the entire week, too, was Tom versus Bill. The team played well. I honestly feel very good sitting at 1-3. We're the best 1-3 team in the NFL probably ever, I would say. And now we got Houston next week. But the game itself was, it was a grinder. I never thought at any point there was a comfortable lead for either team. Even when the Bucs went up, I think it was 13-7. The Pats marched right down, scored 14-13. It was a great game. I'm just glad that we kept it close.
It was the best the Patriots have looked, I think.
Yeah, by far.
And I don't know if it's because of the heightened atmosphere. Did they let Mac do more maybe because they needed more, they thought? Did they leave it all out there? I really enjoyed watching that chess match, which was actually happening, and it felt like, a lot of, hey, Tom, will you check down and will you run this thing? Will you check down, will you run this thing? Because of what they were going to allow the Tampa Bay Buccaneer offense to do. And no, Rob Gronkowski's huge.
No.
That is absolutely huge. And the thought, though, that Antonio Brown catches that ball 99 times out of 100.
Yeah.
At least.
It's an incredibly difficult catch. It's an insane catch. It's an absurd catch. But that is what Antonio Brown is on the football field. Incredibly talented, insane, and absurd on the football field. That is normally the case there. But there was a couple misses by Tom. And was that the scheme? Was that Tom? Was there anything like that? Was it the rain? Because he's used to the rain. Now, because it rains every other day in fucking Tampa. So that can't really be something. It was 60 degrees, so it's not that cold. So I think the people that were trying to make something out of the weather, I'm not sure Foxborough has seen rain that Tampa has seen on a regular basis.
No way.
In Tampa down there. But I thought it was a great game. I thought, I'm happy that Tom got the win. That probably felt pretty good, especially for the coaching staff down there in Tampa who has, a lot of bruises and old war stories up in Foxborough. If Bill wins that one, that flight home is
miserable.
Very, very miserable.
Yeah,
And they're going to have to deal with that forever. But I thought it was a great slate of games. I enjoyed the hell out of it. Congrats to Tom Brady, who became the 4th quarterback to beat every single team in the NFL. Peyton was able to do it with Denver against us. I don't think it was the first time, by the way, though.
Was it Favre?
Favre was able to do it with Minnesota, and he was with the Jets, so I'm not 100% sure. Drew Brees obviously beats the Chargers once he joins the Saints, and that whole thing happens. But it's unbelievable, the career, the accomplishments. And at 44, he looks, dare I say, more athletic than he's ever looked.
Yeah.
Like, he's always been an incredibly athletic, smooth runner.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
He's juked Brian Urlacher.
Yeah, well, before he has done all these things, and then always, every time he's running, you think to yourself, that's a natural movement. That running is very natural to him. That is what he wants to do. But with the TB12, pliability, Alex Guerrero at the house every single night, the dieting, him splitting the D and picking up that first down with that whole thing. Good for Tom. I can't wait to see how it goes. But I think both teams had to win that one. Now, speaking of another primetime game that we didn't get to watch much of because the Jets and Titans had the longest fucking game of all time.
All time.
All time.
Brutal.
This is going to go all 15 minutes of this overtime. All 10 minutes of this overtime. There's going to be a review, by the way.
Couple of them.
Take our sweet time with
That
two.
does not fucking matter. No. And we, welcome to the world, McAfee. When the local game goes to overtime, this wasn't the fucking local game.
Yeah.
Clowns.
Colts Dolphins wasn't. Colts beat the fuck out of the Dolphins.
Yeah.
And the Colts
They
didn't
did.
look great either. No.
They did. That
That's
game
right.
ended a long time ago.
That game ended a long time ago. It was quick, in and out.
Yeah.
Go to Miami, beat the dog shit out of Inns, and then they were already back in Indy.
By the
Jets
time-
Titans still playing.
Yeah.
Not able to watch that. But that once we got to see that Steelers Packers game, we'll start with the victors, obviously. Aaron Rodgers' first time playing the Steelers in Lambeau. At Ty Schmidt, one of the Green Bay Packers owners. You have to be rather excited about what you've seen from the Packers since post, obviously, that week 1 drumming up.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Raj said it. It was an anomaly. It was. They probably needed that kick in the teeth to kind of reset everything and let them know, like, hey, we still, new year, got to go out and prove it. But the Steelers, is that impressive of a win? You look at them.
Jeez.
It's like,
Jeez.
and granted, they've had a tough schedule so far, but like Big Ben just looks so fat and slow.
Oh, jeez.
Juju, there are several. It almost doesn't matter how good their defense is because you just know, like, their offense probably isn't going to be able to score more than 17 points.
Well, and think about the Steelers' offense, and congrats to the Packers getting
Yeah,
it.
they did what they had to do. It wasn't super impressive, but I don't think it was ever a point in the game where it felt like they were going to lose.
And before we go any further, I must say, hey, let's get this sidebar in here, huh?
It's back.
You see that, dude? It's back.
How about it?
Did I potentially forget that we ever had one of these? And then I was called to look at a video from like a year ago, and it had it on there, and I go, need that for Overreaction Monday.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Need that for Overreaction Monday. Yeah, we're back. Congrats to the Packers, by the way. Team looks good.
Go win.
Team looks happy. Team looks good. Defense is going to have to continue to tighten down, but they made Ben look not great at all. Now, is that Ben? Is that the Packers defense? I think that's why a lot of people are potentially taking aim at Ben Roethlisberger, because maybe the Packers defense hasn't been as stellar as a lot of people would hope, and maybe not as good as they'll become this season. There's a long year, but the calls for Ben Roethlisberger being past the age of being able to play at a high level have really started to rain down in abundance. Very, very loud. Very loud. And remember, going into the season, we had heard that Ben Roethlisberger is eating healthier than Tom Brady is eating. He decided to turn that whole thing around, his offseason, his body, how he wanted to treat himself, because although there are people that are defying the test of time somehow with their incredible diets, the workouts. Tom Brady, he eats avocado ice cream and like the most weird shit of all time, because it has made his body be able to be at a higher level for longer. Drew Brees said either 2 years ago or last year, I forget when it was, he said, as I get older in the NFL, obviously I know more about the game and defenses. I'm just trying to make my body hang on for as long as possible. So they start adapting and changing their ways so they can continue to preserve their body at a high level, because the body, if not treated to, people are investing millions of dollars into their bodies to prolong their excellence. So we heard all this stuff coming out of offseason about Ben Roethlisberger. Then Ben Roethlisberger had a press conference day one. He's like, that ain't true. I didn't do anything.
I didn't even like that.
I ain't doing I'm just saying. I might stretch a little bit more or whatever. But a lot of people naturally thought, okay, if he's not doing anything to prolong his career, vastly different. Like Aaron Rodgers, I think, has probably changed a lot of things in his personal life, dietary-wise, workout-wise. He says he squats
Stopped
now.
eating dairy.
He has done everything. Tom has obviously done all these things. Roethlisberger has been able to play for a long time at a high level, and you always wonder, like, is this guy going to potentially try to go all in and take care of himself to play? And he said, no, saying, why fix something that ain't broke? Is something broke over there, Diggs? Do you think, are you losing faith at old Roethlisberger? You asked for Corral, you asked for Aaron. Mm-hmm. Aaron could potentially be the mayor of Pittsburgh right now, especially after that Tomlin moment with too many men on the field and everything like that. And Ben Stonium had an incredible edit for that. But is Ben
Aaron's comments after the
Roethlisberger?
game.
What's that?
And Aaron's comments after the game.
About how much he loves Pittsburgh and everything, yeah. About Tomlin, he says it's a lot of respect. I've spent time with him, but I haven't spent much time with him. But from afar, I've watched for a long time. A lot of respect for him. I just enjoy the way he talks about his players. I've had some friends play over there, and the stories are very consistent with the kind of day-to-day coach that he is. I like his demeanor. He fits that Iron City perfectly. A lot of respect, says Aaron Rodgers. And, they had a little game of cat and mouse, on the field and everything he said. And you guys started calling for him already.
Yeah.
But it is deafening that Ben needs to stop playing football for the Steelers thing right now. Diggs, biggest fan I know of the Pittsburgh Steelers. You're wearing a Ben Roethlisberger shirt, I see.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on that whole opinion that Ben's done? Take him out to the pasture. Don't let him play football anymore.
What?
7 ain't going to make it to 7 in Pittsburgh because his body is deteriorating right in front of all of us. Is that all bullshit, or is that real, you think?
Well, this is actually all Tom Brady's fault, because before Tom came along, quarterbacks at the age of 40 had zero expectations, probably like they should, and Father Time always wins. And maybe we're just seeing with that, Ben. Yesterday was disappointing because it was the worst team that we've played yet this season. So, thought maybe we could get a win here, and we didn't. Had the blocked kick and everything like that. No, I'm not going to. They were going to win either way. Whether that happened or not. I don't know if it's Ben. It looks a lot like it is Ben. He's old, and he can't move behind an O-line that has basically 3 rookies starting on it. It's a disaster right now. I don't know who I am as a human being. I don't know what I'm going to do for the rest of the season. I don't know, Pat.
Are you just going to have to ride this wave of uncertainty and certain failure?
I asked the internet yesterday for losing franchises for advice, because for the last 18 years haven't had a losing season.
So, dear
Lions
fans.
Dear Lions fans.
Dear father.
Learned a lot of them, yeah. Basically, I guess I just have to, get my hope up and crushed every single week. Drink a lot.
Yeah.
Look forward to next year's draft. Bet more, which I don't know how that's possible. It's just going to be tough, Pat.
I want to let you know, I'm happy that the Cowboy's going down with his horse. You know what I mean? It sounds like, because a lot of people would potentially think that you'd maybe just join another team like we saw a Lions fan do last year.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe you wouldn't, but it is a shame, because you are the most optimistic Steeler fan I know on air. Okay, I don't know about off air how you genuinely feel. I don't really put your feet to the fire. But on air, I feel like you have gone to bat for certain things, and we're only in week 4. Hey, there's still 13 games left for every one of these football teams.
Right.
And I think the Steelers fans, and if Nick's eyes make any truth at all, 13 weeks is a long time to watch this football team. It's kind of what Nick just did, and I think a lot of Pittsburgh's thinking that.
They've been 0-3 before with Ben. They've been 0-4 before with Ben and come back and obviously had winning seasons. And I can't give up on him now. This guy has basically been my life for 18 years, and because he's having a bad month, if my mom or dad lost their job, I wouldn't just up and leave them because they had a bad month. I can't do that to Ben.
Yeah, but what if they could have not lost their job by working harder before they lost their job?
Ben was out there working. He just
Coach
wasn't
Diggs
doing Tom.
that ain't Coach. You would never know, because Coach Diggs, if he was told, hey, you know what, wear those bike shorts a little bit shorter,
That's right,
a little bit tighter, wear the sleeveless a little bit better.
Sure.
You get 2 to 3 shades tanner, we'll keep you around or whatever. Coach Diggs would right to the tanning bed.
Yep.
So that is the difference here between.
That's easier than playing quarterback in the NFL.
Well, I agree. But I think a lot of the thought is that he openly said he did nothing different, and the thought is, you're getting older. We're all seeing you're getting older. You're coming out of a Tommy John surgery. And then him saying, I didn't do anything different. I think that was my first, Ben doesn't give a fuck. He must feel very good about where his body is. And now the conversation is he's deteriorating, but also he could have just had a bad month. Maybe he'll be.
Well, right now I'm worried strictly about his legacy. That's what I don't want an Eli situation like his last year. I don't want that.
As long as he doesn't get into a commentating booth and just.
Yeah, he won't.
All right.
Yeah, but
people forgot Witten played football.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
People forgot that Jason Witten was a very, very, very good football player. Great football player.
Oh, yeah.
Hall of Fame football player, just because of one run on television, getting a job that, I think Witten, hindsight, would say, I shouldn't have got that job.
Yeah, no way. And that's why he had to go back and play another year of football, or else everybody would have said, this is that guy who did the epicum in the booth and pulled a rabbit out of his head.
Listen, I stutter on television as well, so there's no reason.
No, you
Not like
don't.
that.
Not like Jerry Winston.
Yeah, there was no. What, Jerry Winston?
Yeah.
Is that
It's a combination of Jameis and Jason Witten.
and that is what?
Both of them do.
Yeah.
My trainer told me
What did he tell me?
preparation.
I love Jameis Winston.
He's the best.
I love Jameis Winston. I enjoy the hell out of Jason Witten as well. I just thought maybe Monday Night Football wasn't the right spot just to drop a guy that can obviously not probably do that.
Yeah.
A little aggressive.
Yeah, so I don't blame Witten, by the way.
Me neither.
I blame the people that said, you know what? Yeah, let's
Wait,
fuck
you're
it.
going to be great.
Sure, Monday Night Football, the Super Bowl every week, basically. We're going to put you in there. So he had to go back and play. I don't think that's going to happen to Ben Roethlisberger if he has one bad season, but last year at the end, it also looked bad. That's when the conversation kind of started, and nothing changed going into this one, except for there was a brand new offense. So a guy who was getting older, who looked a little bit at the end of the year last year, and then obviously there's that moment with Pouncey on the sideline, and a couple people retire that are his good friends. He's kind of the last guy at the keg at this point, even though he's not at the keg anymore. It's a very different situation, much different situation. Used to be at the keg, actually, no longer at the keg. So once they start doing that, and then you get a whole new offense and everything, you think to yourself, how great can they be? Pittsburgh Steelers fans thought they were going to be good, and I think there was reason to believe that, because with that coaching staff down there and that defense, you're going to win games that way. But the offenses look terrible. Brand new offense, though. So we still got to remember that.
Well, and in Ben's defense, a couple of those passes he threw to Juju in the second half were, they weren't perfect, but I feel like winning plays. Juju is supposed to be their number one receiver, especially if Claypool's not out. And Ben's not going to be able to extend plays. You got to be able to make those kind of catches for him.
All right, let's move along down the sidebar here. Cardinals, best team of all time.
Ooh.
This is a real question. Let me tell you why I'm asking this question. Because going into this Rams at home against the Cardinals game, I legitimately thought to myself, okay, the Rams are about to dog walk this Cardinals team.
Yep.
And the Rams are about to cement their legacy as, maybe they will go 17-0. Maybe that defense that has obviously Aaron Donald, who's an absolute stud, but also Jalen Ramsey playing a floating position where he's a safety, he's a will, he's an outside linebacker, he's Mike on some plays, he's an absolute stud. Matthew Stafford getting an opportunity to play alongside an offensive weapon staff that he could only dreamed about whenever he was up there in Detroit. It was going to be, here we go, Sean McVay kicks a quarterback out that he paid $100 million to, said, benched him at the end of his run even. So now is McVay get back season as well? I thought this was the Rams going to go, especially after what they did to Tom in Tampa a week ago. And then all of a sudden, this Cardinals team, as I'm watching that game, I start slowly evolving. I'm like, wait a minute, are the Cardinals going to go 17? Now, NFC West is going to be very difficult. Okay, I'm not just because the Rams and the Niners, but Seahawks apparently have learned how to play football and win football again. They beat they looked very good against that Niners team.
Oh, yeah.
It's Trey Lance time in San Fran, by the way. Jimmy G has a calf, and it seems to be going well with the Trey Lance beginning of the period there. Shanahan came out afterwards and said, that's why he was the number 2 quarterback. Okay, so there were some things we saw there. Being a rookie quarterback is incredibly difficult because defenses are doing something that they don't ever do in the college game, and you got to pick it up at such a different level and a high level, and there's a lot going on. The speed of the game, no matter how fast you are, and you're number 3 overall pick, and they traded 3 first-rounders in the future for. There's a lot of pressure in that whole thing. Trey Lance did not look amazing, okay, in this particular game. Now, will it be different when he's the starting quarterback, whenever the game plan is for Trey Lance to be a starter? Will the game look different? And George Kittle obviously wasn't as healthy as you would hope, or I guess he was potentially going to be out on Thursday. Yeah. But the NFC West is a problem, okay? All the teams are good. We don't know what Trey Lance and the Niners are going to look like with Trey Lance going forward, but Russell Wilson's still there. The Rams are still the Rams, or are they, after what the Cardinals did to them yesterday? This Cardinals team, if you do recall, started out, Chandler Jones had 5 sacks in the first fucking game. Now, Taylor Lewan was coming back from an ACL. That was his first game, really. It was a whole... That Buda Baker... He's a fucking stud. J.J. Watt seems to be making plays over there. And then on the offensive side of the ball, Kyler Murray is running faster than everybody still. And it seems like his vision, his intensity, his emotion, his passion, and obviously at year 4, his year 3, I think, right?
Yep.
Yeah, year 3. His knowledge for the game, it's probably all slowing down for him. We got a chance to chat with him in the offseason. He said, we just got to be more consistent. So I think they acknowledged that they weren't as professional as they had to be. Cliff Kingsbury seems to have a little bit more juice loose, a little bit more emotion, a little bit more invested. He was thrown into being an NFL head coach out of fucking nowhere. He lost at Texas Tech. He's a offensive coordinator at USC for a month. Then he's the head coach of the fucking Arizona Cardinals out of nowhere. Probably swimming in the deep end a little bit. Seems like they got it figured out, and they got a lot of talent. They got Prater kicking, Andy Lee bombing balls. They got veterans on the roster. They brought in a bunch of Pro Bowls into the roster this past offseason. The owners flying the fucking plane around the country picking up these people, saying, hey, you want to come out to the desert? Phoenix is awesome. 5th largest city in America. I mean, that team could go. And Kyler, I think, has proven he can go. I rode quite a roller coaster of cash and emotion last year with this team betting on them. They would beat the hell out of somebody. Kyler would hit a little stutter step on a professional athlete, make them look stupid. He'd get around them. And then the next week, they'd lose to a bad team. And then the week following, they'd be great. It'd be close. And then they'd lose at the end. They wouldn't be able to win it. Then they'd win, blow somebody out, and they'd show all the highlights. I think them putting the pieces together, bringing in vets over there, fucking awesome to watch them do what they did to the Rams yesterday. That is big dog in their division right now. And they weren't scared at all in that spaceship that is fucking SoFi.
Yeah, to your point, like if you told me the Cardinals beat the Rams, I would say, okay, so DeAndre Hopkins had 4 touchdowns and they made it happen. But like AJ Green had 1, James Conner had 2. I feel like all the pieces they brought in is why that they're going to be much more consistent because they have so many other guys that can answer the bell now.
I think that veteranness is a huge deal.
Yeah.
Because there's only things that you can learn through experience. In the things you can learn, it's not necessarily just schematics and schemes. It's also situations. Like, all right, when this happens, this happened to us, and you get either heartbroken or distraught or something happens so bad that you don't want to do it again. You know, like, hey, I don't want this shit happening to me again, so I'm not going to fucking do whatever happened to lead to this point again. And in the NFL, there's a lot of that. There's things like that happen where guys either jump off sides in big moments and how terrible they feel. They decide, like, okay, I'm not going to do this again, so they work on it, they change on that. But as a team growing, and in those close games, putting your fucking foot on the throat as opposed to letting somebody back in there. Kyler coming out afterwards in a press conference, fresh air, by the way, fresh. He comes in the press conference and he said, yeah, we just did our job, basically. We're just winning. Like, it's not that big of a deal to go get a massive win. Now, I'm not saying Kyler is ever, overly enthusiastic or emotional,
right,
but he was saying all the things that you would want to hear if you were part of that Red Sea over there in Phoenix that has a stadium that their grass actually walks out fucking side to get the sun and then comes right back inside. They're building it right over there. That place is fucking going right now. What's up, Nick?
Further to that point, credit to them for bringing in the right veterans because you've seen both sides of the coin. You came into the league on a veteran-led team that did things the right way. You've also been part of a rebuilding team that added a bunch of high-priced veteran free agents who didn't really seem to gel so much as a team.
We paid a lot of money to a lot of people, and there's a couple that really fit into the culture, like Eric Walden.
Yeah.
We paid Eric Walden to come out of Green Bay, I believe. And as soon as he joined our roster, he took 93, by the way, which is Freeney's number. Freeney just left, so I think that was like, I think a lot of people were like, okay. I think this number probably should be retired for at least a year. At least it's fucking Dwight Freeney. But he came in and just bought in immediately. And I think when you think about guys like AJ Green, all I want to do is win. It's all all I want to do is win. I don't care. JJ Watt has always been like the Uber team guy, so much so that he almost got into a fight with the coach for doing something, like I think that is right. And it seems like a camaraderie factor was looked at as they were trying to make their decisions on who to bring in, which is fucking nice to hear. Old Steve Keim over there. I've heard from a lot of people, good time. Okay.
Yeah.
Likes to have a good time and is also a guy. So I think he understands that, like, the group's chemistry is a big deal. I think those that don't understand that are probably more isolated humans, people that are more so, they do things by themselves. They don't fully understand the power of a group. And the power of why a group is potentially powerful is because of how much they like each other and are willing to do stuff for each other as opposed to just with each other. Like, I think that's a big fucking deal. So to your point, Nick, I do like that it seems like they built this thing the right way and said, we're going to pay J.J. Watt an amount of money that nobody thought was possible.
Nope.
But we think if we get him in our defensive room, not only will he make plays and he'll be out there training in the lake with his brother,
Right.
squatting with his high school lifting coach again. This off season, he'll be back too. He'll feel fresh Phoenix air is awesome. I mean, he'll fucking love it out here. But also what he potentially brings to our team is maybe a sense of togetherness that we haven't had for a long time. I don't know if that's what JJ's like. It seems like that's what everybody says it is, but fucking good for them, man. I did not expect them to do what they did to the Rams at all.
Well, and I think you can see Kyler is taking that next step, right in front of our eyes, because the big knock on him last year, you talked about them being inconsistent. Like some games, you would be able to tell almost from the get-go, he seems disinterested today. But he was showing passion out there on the field, fist pumping and stuff, doing stuff that he doesn't usually do, and he's unbelievable.
He's on a gaming team that's in LA, right?
FaZe Clan?
Yeah.
I think he's on FaZe.
I assume the boys from FaZe were in the. I mean, there ain't no way there's no way he was going to lose in front of his boys from FaZe.
That's actually a good point.
You know what I mean?
You got to show up for the gaming squad.
Yeah.
That's rule number one.
Hey, you see a fucking suite right there? Are you talking about the one LeBron's in it? No. Next up, closer than LeBron's. It's fucking FaZe Clan, dog. Those are my boys.
Are they playing video games in the suite right now?
No. They're focusing on their boy that they do play video games with, beating the fuck out of the Rams here right next to LeBron James.
I thought they were getting some practice in while also supporting their boy, because you got to harness that craft at all times.
Well, I do think FaZe Clan is a crew that fucking, hey, we get the job done and we work our asses off.
That's right.
I think they are a crew that they probably had a team meeting or two during there because Kyler was able to attend. You know what I mean? Probably do that. If I know FaZe Clan like I think I do, they will not sleep until they are the best FaZe Clan they can be.
Yeah, Kyler was in the suite at halftime.
Yeah, more credit to him. He's he's juggling right now. Two teams.
Well, I think FaZe Clan actually said, hey, you know what, during football season, you do what you got to do. We'll FaZe Clan for now.
Oh.
And then as soon as this season's over, by the way, guess what? You're FaZe Clan.
Phase up, Kyler.
Phase in.
Yeah, phase in.
Phase in, dude.
Excuse me.
Hey, I'm a fucking FaZe Clan guy, bro.
Me too.
Honestly.
Oh, yeah.
Because whenever HQZ, Hex comes around.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is my squad right here.
Bronny, too.
Come on.
Let's go.
Yeah, and you saw what Bronny did to his high schoolers. He was dunking on those white kids from at least the free throw line.
Oh, yeah, yamming.
He's like, hey, this is what FaZe does, cuz.
Was Bronny at the game, too, to support Kyler?
Well, he's part of the team.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah, he's part of the team.
That's probably why the LeBron suite was where it was. FaZe Clan said, hey, where's your dad's suite? We'll get one a little bit closer, but in the area so you can attend the team meeting.
Oh.
Hey, FaZe Clan don't fuck around, dude. Hey, this is our squad right here.
Let's go, FaZe.
Hey, let's go, FaZe. Whoop, whoop. How did FaZe Clan grow from a Call of Duty start with its modern truism, athletes 1-2, trick shot, feed a lifestyle power brand, be gamers, and so that's supposed to be
top of
I
cross.
did, yeah.
that's on me.
I did that too.
Yeah. Anyways, FaZe. Anyways, Kyler fucking balled out in front of FaZe Clan, dude. We all knew that. But if this team continues to play to what their potential is, which is exactly what they're doing, and we have no reason to believe that they won't, right?
Yeah.
I think at this point we can say, hey, this team seems to be a team that is ready for the moment. This seems like a team that is ready to be a great team. This feels like a team that is ready to break through and break out. They're going to have to in that NFC West, though. That place is filled with problems, and they took out one of the big bad wolves in their own home just yesterday.
Yeah, exactly, though. Don't you think to a certain extent that the inevitability of them just that whole division kind of just chewing each other apart, that by the end of it, when they're going into the playoffs, they're just going to be so worn down?
I would assume that there's a chance that you could get cannibalized.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of like Seahawks. They remembered how to win football games again.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was really cool to watch, actually. I enjoyed watching the Seahawks remember how to play football again. And then on the flip side, hate seeing Jimmy G get hurt again. This is exactly why the Niners drafted a quarterback at number 3 overall and why they traded up in there. John Lynch and Shanahan both echoed the sentiments very loudly a few different times during the entire draft process after they got the trade up to the number 3 overall pick. They said, listen, our team's good. Okay, our team's good when Jimmy's playing. We win games. But then 2 out of the 3 years that Jimmy's been here, he gets hurt and we stink. So we have to get a quarterback for that. This is exactly why they traded up to number 3 overall, because when Jimmy got hurt, they had needed a player to come in. And although they had C.J. Beathard and a couple others, they wanted a guy to fill in there. Trey Lance was the guy they went with. Now he's up in there. What will that team look like? They might be a very different team. Jimmy G, not that mobile, right? I don't think he's that mobile of a guy. Athletic enough, can move. Yeah. Trey Lance is a runner. He's a guy that can absolutely move. Are they going to treat this like Lamar Jackson with Baltimore? Is this going to be a 3 tight end? We're going to run the rock a lot and then we'll open it up maybe with some of our more tight ends. I saw Deebo Samuel get loose, wide open on the sideline. Trey did not hit him really that well. I mean, that was he somehow was wider open than any human I've ever seen in my entire life. And that is, I guess, what people say about Shanahan's offense. So who knows what that team will become. And the Rams are going to bounce back, we assume, because they got a lot of vets over there. And I don't know if they expected yesterday to go the way it did or not, but that NFC West is a problem. But
Or
it's nice.
it could help. It can battle test you and prepare you for the playoffs. It could go the other way.
Yeah, I guess so. But then you're inevitably going to have to run into somebody in the NFC West anyway. Like, there's a chance 3 of them might make it, right? Especially with 17-game season now changing some stuff there. It's fun to watch. It's that 4 o'clock slate is going to be electrifying all year.
Oh, yeah.
All year it's going to be a lot of that. Now, there was a lot of blowouts yesterday in the 1 o'clock games. So.
Yeah, there were.
many.
I mean, the only games that really were close were the games that we said, that game doesn't matter.
Well, we were promised fireworks in the Browns and the Vikings. That was maybe the most boring football game of all time.
Stefanski would kick a fucking field goal. Jesus.
Yeah, that is what is going on with that, because we started pointing it out a little bit earlier because I think the Colts are the big anti-field goal squad, but analytics as a whole is anti-field goal. I mean, people are coming after Bill Belichick right now for attempting that 56-yarder that hit the upright, by the way, was good for 99% of that kick, and then hit the upright from 56 with 55 seconds left. People are going after Belichick for kicking that field goal there. And analytics seem to be going after field goals a lot these days because, the upside is 6 points, which is double the amount of points, which makes a lot of sense. But do those analytics account for who's where and stats of that particular game being added into it? Do they have like an X factor that they can drop in there? Like, we only picked up 1 third down basically all day, or 2 third downs all day, which is exactly, they were 2 and 9. The Patriots were 2 and 9 on third down or whatever. Now on 4th and whatever, you're expected to just go for this, even though you are in the kicker's range. And what if that goes in then, obviously, right? The stats they don't say anything, right?
Yeah, doesn't
the
mean
stats say absolutely nothing. Then they're just a part of accruing data that make is, we'll adjust our models accordingly. It just seems like these stats are very hindsighty, seems like, which is what stats actually have to be.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much I love it, but stats seem to hate the field goal for whatever reason. It just sounds like that is the kind of the new fad in the stats world. And I guess if it's going to win you games, it's cool, but I've seen it just lose people.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and people assuming that the Patriots win the game if he makes that kick. I mean, you mentioned earlier, you're probably going to watch Brady go down and kick a field goal with 50 seconds left and 2 timeouts. But you know who should kick field goals every time they get first and goal? The Detroit Lions, because they have no clue what they're doing.
This was awesome to watch. Absolutely awesome to watch. Just because watching the Lions is fun.
Yeah.
Because we have...
It's great.
Evan Fox in the goddamn thing. And now Goff almost won for 300.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, almost won for 300.
Great team.
He was throwing the ball around, and they're playing against a Bears team that averaged 1 yard per play a week beforehand.
Different play calling.
So is this, Bill Lazor obviously coming in. Hey, and by the way, trust the Laser in Chicago, but also remember that Lazor is getting a lot of direction from Matt Nagy.
That's right.
What?
Yeah, I'm happy as a head coach that we all had to come together, obviously, for this plan. And I basically told him what to call, when to call, how to call. He did the final relay of the call there. But the Bears look much different. Justin Fields looked very good. Crazy that is the same roster that it was just a week ago or 2 weeks ago, just under new guide Coxman. No. Who's,
Coxman's the guy in the crew
that's leading the thing.
Yeah, that's calling out the direction.
Okay, so a brand new Coxman for the Chicago Bears offense in Bill Lazor. It's crazy. They looked vastly different. I mean, a very different team. But with that being said, and Nagy said that Andy Dalton's still the starter.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
If he's healthy, he's still the starter or whatever.
Get well.
And, I think a lot of people are saying, like, let's ask Lazor, maybe.
Yeah.
Like, hey, let's ask Lazor if Andy Dalton's still the starter, if he's healthy. I mean, we understand what you're saying, and you'll probably guide him into thinking what he's thinking, but let's ask old Bill what he's thinking. He's been here last year when you guys looked bad. Yesterday they looked very good. Is that because the Lions couldn't prepare for Lazor's mentality or idea, or is that because Lazor is just maybe that much better at calling plays and making Justin Fields look a lot better? Or is Justin Fields a little bit more comfortable week 2? Maybe he has to prove some shit too after a bad week 1. We will continue to evaluate the Chicago Bears, which once again, They did risk some of their future to get Justin Fields, and we have no idea if their coaching staff or their front office is going to be around next year. I mean, quite a dysfunctional situation, but if you win, who gives a fuck? If you lose, which seems to be what the Lions do all the time, people are going to pick apart everything. Like, for instance, the first time you guys were in first and goal, you actually snapped it off of Goff's nuts. Right to
Should have been intercepted.
Right to the D tackle. Yeah, it should be an interception. It's a fumble recovery, but that ball never touched the ground. It went. I think the center thought he was under center.
Yeah.
And then he remembered halfway through, so he pinched it off of his taint, and he was trying to shotgun it right off of Goff's dick, basically, and then D lineman, bang, let me give that thing, and then all of a sudden, Lions scored no points.
Have you ever seen anything like that?
Never. Not live.
No way.
Not live in the NFL. I think I seen it in the fan football crazy.
That's right.
Yeah.
It looked like a scene out of a movie.
It did. It looked like it was basketball when they were mocking the celebrations at the beginning of basketball. Like, this is what other sports do. This isn't what we do. I mean, it was classic, folly?
Yeah, football follies.
Football follies. Like, if this was old school days where they had those folly shows with the noise. Like, the Lions, every time they got a two-goal situation yesterday, would have been the top three of those things. Strip sack, fumble, everything, turnover on downs. I mean, it was just somehow, some way, they were going to fuck it up differently. And I'm in no room to talk with the Colts. We've done it gracefully better than anybody. You guys just so happen to do it in a much more comedic, we suck at football fashion.
Right.
And it seems like that's kind of the Lions. MCDC's got those boys fighting.
I love MCDC, but what I love more about the Lions is I couldn't watch that game yesterday because I was in a wedding. I didn't have to, though. They did what the Lions do every single week, and it was awesome to just check my phone and see it and go, same old Lions.
Let's let it be known. Okay, let's let it be very clear here. 21 points were left on the board by the defense.
Oh, yeah.
So that would have been 35-24, Lions' first win. MCDC, by the way, bro, I'll tell you what, man. Fucking killed him.
Fuck are we doing out here, man?
But instead, 24-14, lose by 10 to the Bears. I mean, that is just tough. Congrats to Chicago Bears. Hey, the Bears, Justin Fields looks good. Also, that defense taking advantage of situations like, for instance, the Lions are going to lion at some point here. Yes. We just got to lie in wait and wait for the Lions to lion. And that's exactly what they did when it got to goal.
Yeah, David Montgomery, though.
Yeah, get better now.
T's and P's.
Bears fans, don't get used to that, all right? That won't happen next week. The Lions are just the Lions. It's just very clear.
Well, he had victory stakes.
I mean, Justin Fields, great game. Proud of you, pal, but
all right, let's get to a break. We covered a lot of the shit. We still got to talk about the Chiefs beating Dahn, the Philadelphia Eagles, and Andy Reid becoming the first coach to win 100 games in two different franchises. Just so happens to happen in Philly.
Wild.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Tom Brady breaks the passing record. Terrible celebration. Of course, New England's going to disrespect him like that.
Disrespect him? We were supposed to do a whole thing. Brady called a timeout to celebrate it himself.
No, he did not. He called a timeout because the refs are moving the spot of the ball 3 different times.
Yeah, they're giving it to him.
No, they didn't give it to him. They took it away from him at first, and then they moved it to a tie, and then they moved it yet again to the other one. I think Tom was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Timeout. And then all of a sudden we come back from commercial break and Tom's picture's up there and it's a congrats. It's like, well, of course the Patriots didn't want to celebrate Tom Brady.
No, we did. They did. They put the whole thing up there. They just didn't want to have to deal with Drew Brees coming out and making it about himself and patting Brady on the back and shaking his hand.
I think Drew was in the ref's ear. Like, oh, you move that back.
Yeah.
Tied at least.
Hey, time out, everybody. Let me say hi to Brady real quick.
Very fascinating how Drew was talking about that, by the way, because he said in the last 3 years we've become friends. That means... I assume they did not like each other.
Yeah, probably not.
Last 3 years we become friends. He said it like a few times.
Yeah.
I was like, all right. What happened before the last 3 years, though? You guys hate each other.
Yeah. Maybe Brady's kids were punking his kids. I don't know.
I don't know. Those kids are all going to be very good at whatever they decide to be good at.
Yeah.
Let's just assume that. Drew Brees' kid was on the fucking stadium at the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I remember
Having the
that.
time of his life.
Yeah.
Good for that kid, dude. Now he's making trick shots with Dude Sweet. Yeah. All right, we're back in 4 minutes. Please call the 5-Hour Energy phone line, 1-833-4-McAfee. That's 1-833-4-McAfee. We'll talk to you then. Cheers. Ladies and gentlemen, the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, Coach Mike Tomlin.
Oh, man, Pat, it's an honor to be on with you, man. Thanks for having me.
You're a legend. Thank you for putting me through my workout and having the scouts actually come watch me kick at West Virginia. I don't think I've ever fully thanked you for that moment, Coach.
No, man, I've drank the McAfee Kool-Aid for a long time.
Let's get right into it. The locker room culture changed completely when I was in the league, from when I was a rookie to when I was done, and I retired after the 2016 season. Now it's even more different, I would assume, from when you came into Pittsburgh and everything like that. The dancing on the logo, the TikTok, everything like that you guys have had to experience. What is your messaging in there? How do you adapt and let players be themselves without, doing too much? Because that is a fine balance that you've been able to do, I think, in an incredible job with throughout your entire time in Pittsburgh.
I think for me, more than anything, I try to stay connected. Just getting a sense of where these guys are coming from, what's in vogue for their generation, what captures their attention, how do they learn, how do they communicate, how do they interact with each other formally and informally. And I think being a parent kind of helps me. My boys are 19 and 20, so it's not much difference between them and some of the younger guys that I deal with here. And so for me, it's just about gaining an understanding, working to stay connected. That's my general attitude, man. It's adapt or die for me. And I don't want to be one of them old crusty guys, man, that just refuses to adapt. Although I am one of those old crusty guys now.
Yeah, you are old as shit now. You know what I mean? I mean, you've been around a long time. I remember back in the day, whenever you showed up, there was a lot more, to the camera. There's a lot more.
Yeah.
There was a lot of that. Now you're just old ass man now, huh?
You know how it is. Years in this business will scar you, man. It'll settle you down.
That is classic. One of my favorite moments with you is when you would tell me every warm-up, I'm going to get you back to Pittsburgh when you're old and cheap. What does that mean? What did that mean? And should that have been taken as a smack in the mouth, like whenever you said that to me?
No, man, it was a tip of the cap, man. There's certain guys around this league that I'm really interested in, but I know I cannot afford. And you were one of them, so I was going to wait for you to physically deteriorate a little bit until you came back into my wheelhouse.
Yinzers are going to go bananas in Heinz Field this weekend. First time it could be filled up in a long time. I can't wait to see it, and I can't wait to... Oh, mama, I'm here for my life. Is that your alarm clock? Yeah, just say yes, by the way. Yeah.
It's my ringtone. It's my alarm
clock. We appreciate you, Coach T. Last question before we let you go. Why'd you let Troy Polamalu do what he fucking did to me? Why'd you let... I know you've heard of this. Why? Well, that's a short side of the field. That's bad football. You guys coaching unsound football over there in Pittsburgh? How did that happen?
We know you and love you as a man. But on Sundays in the fall, man, you're the nameless gray faces that we...
All right, ladies and gentlemen, head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, never had a losing season, absolute legend, two-time Super Bowl champion, Mike Tomlin.
Yeah!
Thank you, Coach. It's just like EA Sports is in the game. We're the only media outlet that does not have a deal with them. Like, we don't get free codes. Nope. I'm not even in the fucking game. Mm-hmm. They've asked me to do it. I've said no. I don't want to be a part of it. I mean, that is legit because I've never played, to be honest. I'm not good at it. But we're the only ones. Yeah, you guys have played. There's a lot of guys in here that have played. A lot of fans have called in and played. We're the only ones that aren't really on an EA Madden payroll at this point. So it's okay for us to come out and say, like, hey, y'all need to stop fucking over your fans. Like, you need to help them. I feel like that's a good thing of this show.
This is the Pat McAfee Show on Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. We thank you for taking the time to seek out this small regional show that streams internationally. Here's Pat and
Welcome back to that show. Overreaction Monday, October 4th, 2021. Had a hell of a 45 minutes to start that there.
Hell yeah.
Broke about every single radio rule you could break on when you're supposed to go to commercial and not supposed to go to commercial. But I want to tell you, when it's Overreaction Monday, there's a lot of shit to ramble about.
That's right.
In the second hour, we'll see Darius Butler, A.J. Hawk, and then Taylor Heineke, quarterback for the Washington football team, will join us.
Here we go.
Guess who booked Taylor Heineke, by the way?
Who?
That would be one for
Boston Connor.
Let's roll. Wow. Here we go, boys.
Emailing with the PR dude over there.
That's right. Good guy.
Very nice. Some PR people have not taken too kindly to us reaching out to them and Connor maybe sending them an email. Well, because they're fucking doofuses. I believe.
Or they just, search me real quick and they're like, oh, this kid's a big dumb dipshit. Why would we respond to him?
What if one of them responded and said, Are you the one with that mullet?
You're the mullet dude.
No,
right?
no. That's somebody else. I'm behind the scenes. That's how you respond.
Yeah, that's not me.
Nah, that's not me. That's somebody else. But I'm excited to chat with everybody on this beautiful Overreaction Monday. Can't thank you enough for watching and listening wherever you may be. Wrapping up hour 1 here on Sirius XM Channel 82 Mad Dog Sports Radio and at youtube.com/The Pat McAfee Show. The Bills beat the fuck out of the Texans.
Smoked him.
Period.
Wasn't close.
I don't even know what else to say to this thing. The Bills are fucking awesome to watch. The Texans were terrible at football yesterday. Was that because of the downpour and the weather being despicable and 17.5-point spread being a lot of points, especially whenever you turn on the TV and it is just God pissing on Buffalo wave after wave after wave. It almost made the Buffalo Bills even better. That team, I would assume, did not like how they displayed themselves week 1 against the Pittsburgh Steelers at home and have been on a wrecking quest ever since then. And the Texans here, without Tyrod Taylor, old Davy Boy Mills. Davy Boy Mills and them got fucking shellacked in Buffalo. 40 zip in the NFL.
Yeah, it was tough. First offensive play of the game for the Texans. I believe Dave Mills dropped back, no pressure, and the wet ball just slipped right out of his hand. Buffalo recovered, and they were in the red zone already. I mean, it was just
that's
like,
a tough start.
Yeah.
Listen,
Yeah.
I've been there, done that before. Okay, we played the New Orleans Saints in New Orleans. All right, first play of the game, Curtis Painter. We took the ball somehow. I think they might have deferred. I don't know how it happened, but first play of the game, Curtis Painter takes a snap. He gets sacked, I think fumble. They scored a touchdown. We get the ball again. I think we turned over again. It was 14 zip, I think, before the game even started. I think it was 2-3 minutes into the game.
Jeez.
Buffalo did a pretty similar thing to Houston.
Yeah.
There's some times where you just run into a buzzsaw when you're not nearly as good of a team as the other team is, and they take advantage of it on all fronts, including the weather dumping all over your chest. That's what Buffalo
That was another one. Josh Allen comes out and throws an interception. Houston have the ball inside the 10, and they go for it on 4th down when the ball is just soaking wet. Obviously, they didn't get it. It was on a pass. They could have went up 3-0. Not that it would have mattered, but like,
It's not 40-0.
correct.
Yeah.
It is 40-3.
Yeah, points on the board.
Points on the board is a big deal, but I assume they're not viewing it down there with Coach Dave. Speaking of Coach Dave, he chews his tongue, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
When things are going well, it's like his thing. And I respect it. Like, hey, whatever gets you through it. Steve Belichick on some uppers over there? What's he licking his lips for?
Steve Belichick is hungry. He wants the boys to get going. You look over
I don't know.
there.
That licking seemed to be oddly similar to a couple of my friends who enjoyed taking trips down every single purple. What are those things? Diamond Mountain. You
Oh,
know what
sure,
I mean?
yeah. Well,
every single my friends that had their nose through a purple diamond on most occasions, whenever we were out and about, had a lot of similar things. I'm not saying he's like that, but is that how he always acts? Like licking his lips as such and
I
losing
don't
his
know.
mind? Did he not sleep all week? What was it?
Well, he probably was sleeping, and if he is taking LSD to get more in the zone for defending Tom Brady.
No,
so
I wasn't
be it.
saying LSD. Purple Diamond is, I believe, a snow hill. It's a ski slope.
Oh, you think he was skiing all game? I hope so. I mean, look at him. He's an absolute animal.
I'm not
What
going
a
to say
mullet
that.
on that
I'm not going
guy.
to say that about him. I just assumed that he did not even think that there was people potentially watching him. It seemed like the camera caught him at every single moment he was doing something insane on camera. I loved that as soon as I saw old Steve Belichick there with that beautiful mullet, skullet almost at this point with how tight the fade is up on the top. It looks as if every one of them did not sleep and knew that this week was bigger than every other week.
Mm-hmm.
Just like my sources had told me that Tampa was potentially, extra meetings, extra walkthroughs, extra individual. I mean, there was a lot of extras going this week for a week 4 game. Fucking love it. Absolutely love it.
And like you just said there, week 4 game. There's still so much season to be had. It's crazy that we're already here.
Yeah, it's crazy that we're already here, and it's great that the Dallas Cowboys, they look really good as they stomp the Carolina Panthers and the Ravens. Travel over to the Mile High City and beat the once undefeated Teddy Two Glove and the Broncos. Broncos didn't beat a lot of great teams.
No.
Now, granted, those teams did get some big wins this past weekend.
That's right.
So who knows what we know about anything. To be honest, it feels as if we don't know shit about fuck yet again. But here we are on an Overreaction Monday, October 4th. Hour 2 is on the other side with AJ Hawk. And I think we covered everything. Chiefs beat the hell out of the Eagles. See you in 6 minutes with AJ Hawk. This is Overreaction Monday on the Pat McAfee Show. this year with the conversations, you do seem to be a rather normal human, which is very interesting, right? I assume for a lot of people to hear. AJ said, no, you are not a normal human. But because all the stories about you before this year, to be honest, a lot of people, the way they believed is you were the smug king almost is what the thing about it. And then getting a chance to chat with you, it's like, well, that's not the case at all. How is that like something you have to focus on? I assume it gets hard whenever you're hanging out with, Scott Stapp is hanging Aaron Rodgers jerseys up in his goddamn office. That has to be pretty weird.
Well, look, I think that's an interesting thing to talk about. I think a lot of times, people have said things about me, and it's been the same few people, and that's been kind of the prevailing story or thing that's reflected on. I think for me, I talk a lot about the work I did on myself. It was nice, and it wasn't intentional. Like, I didn't sign the show to have, and you guys know, we've talked about this off air, but there wasn't, some agenda doing this. It was fucking talk to Pat and AJ every week? Yeah. It sounds pretty awesome.
It has been, by the way.
It sounds amazing. But what it's allowed me to do is, I think, silence all the douchebags out there who were, talking for me and making themselves more relevant by using my name or, running with stories that were not really based in any type of fact. And look, I've grown as a person. I've said things and done things that I wish I'd handled a little better. But this was a great, natural, authentic, whatever, whether it was 15 minutes at the stadium or 45 minutes, to just bullshit and have a conversation. If you're a friend of mine, if you know me, I think this is about as normal as interaction you're going to see from me. It's not a lot of BS. You're not going to hear cliches and garbage. I'm going to, shoot from the hip mostly. Tell you as much as I feel comfortable telling. I feel like I've been as honest as I could be. I've told you guys a lot of fun stuff. That's fun for me because then I don't have to maybe rehash it on a Wednesday, or people get to see a different side of you that maybe they didn't even know was there or didn't think was there. And it's been fun for me. I really have. I've appreciated every single week we've done these. And like I said, the best part is there was no agenda. There was no plan. I mean, even us, we didn't know we were going to go 10 minutes or 15 minutes or an hour. We just started fucking talking, right? And then this came out, and it's been a lot of fun.
I was told by Del Curry, Scottie Pippen struggles on a golf course, right?
Right.
I was told at that thing that I'm going against Scottie Pippen the next day, match play, heads up, one-on-one Scottie Pippen. So we decide, okay, we could probably have a couple drinks, stay at the casino a little bit longer than we should.
Representing the NFL out of the Shoeless Golf Club of America, Pat McAfee. His opponent, representing the NBA, Scottie Pippen.
You know what I mean? This guy's got 6 rings. Yeah. He's a fucking Hall of Famer. But today he's going to play against me. And then I start seeing Scottie hit some shots that are just starting to come together. And I'm like, wait a fucking minute. I think I was lied to.
We were lied to yesterday. We were told Scottie Pippen was a terrible golfer. Bro, he's Scottie fucking Pippen.
Going in the back 9, I think I was down 1. We were really, we were battling. But I started making putts. And Scottie Pippen went ahead and got real hot. I mean, real fucking hot. I was down 3 with 7 left. And I looked right in the camera, and I go,
so we're down 3 with 7 holes left. Scottie Pippen's about to get this work.
Scottie Pippen from 190 yards out just fucking dunks it. Fucking boom, bang, and then walks up to the green, gets the ball, camera's on him, and he goes, Pippen ain't easy. Kidding me?
All right, down 4 with 6 left after Scottie Pippen just chips him from fucking 400 yards out.
I was fucking demoralized.
Pippen ain't easy.
By the way, best he's ever performed at golf, because I'm around, better teammate than Jordan.
Yep.
People forget. Oh, yeah, I told Del, I was like, Del, what the fuck you lying to me? He was like, well, I saw it yesterday. He was not great. And Greg Anthony told me, and I was like, Del, he buried me, Del Curry. He buried me. He was like, hey, Pippen ain't easy.
Yes, baby, it's time to celebrate.
Talking about a shotgun of beer after he had beat me. Obviously, I teach him how to do it.
Yeah, put a hole in there. It might spray a little bit, so.
Yeah.
So you're going to go here, and then you're going to open and flip up. Does that make sense? Congrats on winning the NBA a couple of times, blah, 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 blah. And being an incredible golfer. Right, well, cheers. Hey. Hey.
Damn.
Okay,
That's the
Scotty.
best Bud Light I ever had.
Hey, there's no stuck here.
You right.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Speaking his mind
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
while being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. It is Overreaction Monday, October 4th, 2021, years after zero. Hour 2 of this strictly sports show will begin right now.
Yeah.
First hour, we covered all the big storylines of the NFL and what came out of week 4. Now joining us to break down maybe a couple more storylines that have come out of the football world here. Columbus, Ohio zone. Ladies and gentlemen, college football national champion, Super Bowl champion, Ryder Cup champion, and I assume a man who has been at a bar that had a lot of videos that made its way around the internet, ladies and gentlemen, AJ Hall. AJ, I'd like to congratulate you.
So, hey, you brought me on much earlier than you normally do. Normally you sit and talk about soccer or something for 5 or 6 minutes.
Well, here on Overreaction Monday, we've covered all the things in the world of football that we, there was a couple big-time college games we didn't talk about.
Yes.
We will definitely get to at some point. Coach JB had a rough go in his Pick'em segment. Obviously, we'll talk about that on Friday. But in the NFL world, we have to talk about everything that happens. We have to, because if we don't, what type of show are we when we say, hey, we don't talk about that shit because we are an NFL show. Mm-hmm. We don't talk about, we don't know anything about that, we're an NFL show. There was a big distraction this weekend in your hometown, the town that you live, at a bar I assume you frequent. Now, there's another angle coming out where Urban Meyer allegedly stuck his 2 fingers into the butt of a young co-ed on wearing jeans. AJ, as somebody that lives in Columbus, Ohio, the alternate
Does
angle.
this video show that exactly?
Yeah.
The alternate angle is damning.
I've seen them all. I know.
Urban Meyer sticks a finger gun into butthole of lady who was once seen dancing on her wearing jeans. Is this a normal thing that happens in Columbus, Ohio? Is this expected? And what happened, do you think? Have you been at that bar?
I mean, yeah, I think he was at his place, Urban Meyer's Pint House, right? It's his own restaurant. And then what he said in his press conference, a group next door wanted some pictures, so he went there, and he should have got out of there when they tried to pull him on the dance floor, right?
Yeah, the group that was next to us wanted some pictures.
What?
And then they wanted some tequila. We have the best tequila in town.
What?
And then we had some cocktails.
What?
We had some spirited conversation about the Buckeyes.
What?
And then we went to the dance floor.
What?
I shouldn't have went to the dance floor.
What?
Once you get to the dance floor, one thing becomes another thing, which ends with 2 fingers in the butthole, it appears, of a young co-ed, and this is obviously a distraction for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and we tease and pease towards everybody down there. Obviously not fun, not cool, but alcohol will do something to you every once in a while, get you feeling a little freaky out there, especially in Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah, I'm also, no one's talking about it. I'm worried about Urban's health. I mean, people talk about his heart, but he has 2 collapsed testicles from coming in his pants so hard from sticking his fingers up that girl's butt. So I just hope Urban's doing well. I know it was a tough weekend. So ice those balls down, Urban.
Ice them down.
I mean, do you think he's put it in the past? Is he past this now? Is everyone going to forget about it?
I'm sure.
No.
He addressed it.
It's definitely a spank bank.
I think so. I think we're all past it, man.
Oh, boy.
And the first video came out was from an account called Urban.
Yeah.
This
Oh,
guy
really? Did
is
they make an account just for that?
I don't know. I don't know if this is a regular thing from this particular account. I stumbled upon it just this week, and I think as all of us did. And then that video got taken down. And I wondered how. What was the go about? Did they have to look at surveillance? Who was sitting at this point? We got to get this thing going. But alternate angles are now coming, and obviously Urban, and I assume his team is, his team's probably, hey, you're all right, man. You don't have to worry about us, by the way. Seems like you're probably going to have some other conversations, but let's go win some games out there, Coach. Let's go ahead and do that. But God damn. Whoa, what a moment.
Yeah.
All right, we covered it. We addressed it. We had to.
Well, but now they're in a deep dive for ass and titties on Snapchat because that is the one who put out the video of him finger banging.
The alternate angle.
The alternate angle.
Great
yes.
journalist.
All right.
Wait, who's on a deep dive? You mean people on a deep dive to try to find more
Urban's
footage?
team.
I think Urban's team is probably
FBI.
Yeah.
on this thing. Oh my God, what a moment. All right, good luck, dude. That's fucking. That's gonna be hell. What he's going through right now, absolute
Just
hell.
the timing could not be any worse. Coming off that Thursday night loss, everything he stayed in town too. They said he stayed in Cincy and then drove to Columbus. That's what I think the players may have like the hardest thing getting over. Like, hey, he stayed and we all flew back.
Yeah, I was about to talk about that actually because the reporter kind of told the question like. So you stuck her, and he kind of had a Yinzer accent, by the way. I don't know who it is, but it's down in Jacksonville, so I'm not 100% sure who it was. But I thought I heard a little bit of a Yinzer accent, maybe Ohio. I'm not 100% sure when he asked it. But he said, you stuck around, and then
Not always stuck.
All right.
His fingies were busy.
I don't know if he planned that when he decided not to fly back with the team.
You think
but
he's washed his fingers since that happened?
I assume he didn't, but I assume somebody else did for him quickly. But if I had to imagine what that situation is like when you go home, I couldn't even. Oh my God!
He's not welcome at his house anymore. I
Well,
think.
we don't know that because he was asked this morning if he had to apologize to his family. Oh yeah, oh yeah was his answer. Oh yeah. Everybody's not happy about this whole thing, but him sticking around after that Thursday night game was mind blowing to me. Legitimately, that was mind blowing to me because I've had teammates that were like OGs who maybe if they lived in the area of the Thursday night game, they were able to stick around or whatever. But the coach, I've never seen the head coach be like, you guys fucking do whatever you got to do. There is a plane ride back home. Maybe this is the future. I'm not 100% sure if this is going to be how coaches act or whatever. But it felt like that was a little bit of a eyebrow raiser to me as well. Like, okay, so this whole weekend extravaganza here in Ohio started with an interesting decision, I think, personally. You might know differently from other buildings, but the coach, I've never seen that or ever expected that, I don't think.
I haven't seen it from a coach. No, I've seen players try to do it and get turned down. I've seen sometimes where players can make it work if it's your bye week or something and you're getting the whole next week off. Like there's guys that have tried to do it. They usually the coach does not allow them and they have to take a commercial flight back the next morning. But I assumed when Urban was in Ohio, he flew back with the team, then took a private plane here, and then was taking a private back like on Sunday morning most likely if the guys had a couple of days off. That's what I assumed. I didn't know until all of this that, he stayed. So
I agree.
That's news.
And that reporter that asked the question, as soon as he asked the question, I was like, God damn, wait a minute. I've never heard that before. But I've actually seen a player, do this. And I was actually sitting like this in my seat on the team plane. I had just maybe eaten a brownie that was very large that had some things in it, And I got a tap on the shoulder that said, hey, do you want to go to insert name of place I never thought I would be invited to, somebody's house or whatever. And I was like, yeah, when are we going there? Right now, yeah. I was like, how are we doing that? And he pointed out the window and he said, you see that plane? That's blah, blah, blah's plane. We're hopping on that plane and we're flying to blah, blah, blah's house. I was like, right now? They're like, yeah. I was like, yeah, I'll fucking go. So I get up and I literally look at a couple of my teammates I was sitting around. I'm like, see you fucking losers, dude. I'm getting on that plane over there. I was a little bit younger at this point or whatever. And I had just eaten a massive brownie. Who knows where I was headed. And we literally just walked right back off the plane. And I walked right onto the other plane and flew off. I was like, this is how we do Thursday nights? Is this thing? He was like, couldn't believe I was allowed to do this or whatever. But there was like 10 of us that just said, and that was the first time and I think the only time that had ever happened. I could have never imagined the head coach of the team being like, all right, I'm gonna be on that plane right there actually, or I'm gonna stick around here. That was alarming to me. That was very alarming to me.
There was when I was early on in my career in Green Bay after our fourth preseason game, McCarthy made a couple guys get up. He's like, "Oh, we got a couple guys who want to say something," and we had a couple prominent players stand up in front of the team like, "Hey, I want to apologize. Selfish move. What I did." And we're like, "Okay," and everyone's like, "What's going on? What happened?" And we talked to him afterwards. At halftime, it was fourth preseason game. They weren't playing. Halftime, they kind of hung around like, okay, straggled back. Oh, I'm going to get out of the tunnel late. Nope. They peeled off into the showers, took a shower, got in their car, went to the airport, and got on a private plane down to Florida. A couple guys.
Yeah, well, that's that fourth preseason game. For some guys, like, this is kind of the last week we got here. We had a lot of OGs on that fourth preseason game that had, because it was always Cincinnati. So there was always...
Yeah, I played you guys my year there. Yeah, we drove to Indy for that game.
Yeah, after that game, there was always some sort of shenanigans that was taking place, whether it was limousines or planes or things like that. Like, yeah, it's a different... Hey, be who you can afford to be. In Jacksonville, Urban Meyer can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, he's king. Right.
He said he talked to Shad Khan, the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's very supportive. Obviously, he's very supportive, and let's just try to win some football
Urban,
games.
that's what we have yachts for. Okay, we don't do that in public bars. Probably what Shad, I assume, told him.
You think?
Yeah. Now let me smell your fingers.
All right.
Hey, didn't
That's
Shad
the last time we'll talk
didn't he punish some of his soccer players though for indiscretions off the field?
Well, not only that, there is some hypocrisies across the pond with the Shad Khan operation potentially, but also something's going to happen in the NFL with a player in Jacksonville. There's going to be some. Imagine if my situation happened and Urban was the head coach and they suspend me, right, for a game. It's $40,000 in fines basically from the NFL or whatever. And I'm like, I guess I should have got a ride home. Okay. And I should have been a little bit, but at least I wasn't, full gunning down a butthole. You know what I mean? Like, and that entire, that's going to get, at some point it's going to get brought up, but I assume they're all past it. If you win football games, nobody cares, but it ain't about the team, I think, in that particular situation, Here's a lady.
He got bigger issues, yeah. Jacksonville, we know he's got issues with the team and all that. You got to figure out how to win, but I'm sure that's not the first thought on his mind.
Did you have to apologize to your family? Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. They were not happy, yeah. And then there was one part of that press conference where he took his glasses and put them on top of his head. And he struggled with it a couple times.
Shut off his pink eye.
Oh my God, no, it was just his hand, not his eye. I don't think, unless there's other angles coming out. TBD. We will
face the buzz.
We will keep an eye on the situation. But that is just, he knows.
I wonder when he learned of it. I wonder was he still out when he saw the videos being posted, or was it the next day?
That would be a heartbreaker if you're sitting at the bar and you're learning that the whole world is watching you do what you're doing right now, and it's like, oh my God, I have fucked up. And then you got to find some waters, right? I feel like you got to find some waters quickly, maybe some ice cold ones. Whose phone was it? And then, Urban actually raises, I'm so sorry. Sorry. We're having so much fun. I need you to delete that, take that down. And then old buddy across the was like, I got another angle. You wanna buy this from me? And Urban's like, just don't post it. You got it. And then that's today. That's happening right now. So who knows how it all ends up? If the Jags, if they go 0-17 and that happens,
yeah. Is USC still calling Urban Meyer after that? I don't think so.
I think
they might be.
I think the way they'll talk about his NFL experience, though, we will all have to, is like, remember what the NFL one was fucking, we know Florida and Ohio State legitimately almost killed Urban Meyer, but actual death didn't almost come until he was in Jacksonville. And after a Thursday night game, remember?
Yeah.
He told the team to scram on their own plane, and I'm staying here because I got to see my grandkids and and the bar and take some shots and go to the dance floor. Shouldn't have went to the dance floor. Should have stayed in the booth section. Because once you go to the dance floor, the bar section, there's that open bar, and you can turn that thing around, and guess what can happen? A young co can back that thing up.
Hell yeah. You can move those fingers forward.
Let's talk about other things that happen in the NFL other than just that. I'm happy we covered everything that there is to be chatted about. Now we shall revisit some things because our friend AJ Hawk is with us, coming to you live from Columbus, Ohio, just minutes from the bar that Urban Meyer was at this weekend. We have boots on the ground. We will keep everybody updated, obviously. We apologize to everybody in the Meyer family for having to go through this public situation. But who would we be if we didn't talk about it? Let's talk about some other things that happened this weekend. AJ, you had your worst weekend by far.
Ooh.
You stink at picking games.
I did. It's like, what was I, 4-10? When Zeke just texted me that before, I'm like, hey, that's better than I thought. There was a chance where I thought I may have lost every game.
See, that's fascinating because you texted me yesterday and said, I think I won every game. And I thought you were being serious. I didn't know you were being facetious. It did not come through the text message.
Okay, when you said, yeah, you probably did, I was like, I'm just not going to respond now because he probably does think that.
No, yeah, I did. To be honest, watching the game, I have to ask Gumpy and Connor, hey, who did I pick in this game? Like,
same thing with me.
5-6 times. Like, hey, who did I pick here? Who did I pick? Because there was a couple games where I was pumped about what was happening, and then I realized, like, oh, no, I actually picked the fucking Eagles. But I made a same-game parlay about the Chiefs dominating on Sunday morning, so I had forgot what happened from Friday, us picking to Sunday, which is going to happen when you're picking every single game. But I did better than you. So all those people that
who'd you pick tonight, though?
What?
Who'd you pick tonight?
Who'd you pick tonight?
I'm sure I picked the Chargers, I'm guessing.
You guys have not picked tonight.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right, you take Raiders, I'll take Chargers, and we'll see if we can even it up.
Now we know what AJ wants you to pick.
Nah. You're taking the Chargers?
I don't know. Who are you taking?
I don't know.
All right. Well, whatever you do, I'm going to do the opposite.
What's that all about?
I just want to even it up, man. What do you mean?
It's week 4.
I got punched in the mouth. It's how I get up. I got to get up and keep fighting for the next week.
I agree, but let's make sure we put our best foot forward. If you actually think a team's going to, cover or win, you should pick
I think the Chargers are going to win and cover.
Okay, me too.
Okay, then I'll pick the Raiders.
Whoa. Come
on, dude.
Well, I don't know if I like them anymore. Because I trust you.
Emotions out.
Huh?
No, I'll stick with the Chargers. Don't worry.
All right, me too, dude.
Wow.
Check back at the end of the show.
Yeah, I will.
Oh.
Yeah, I might have some new thoughts as well.
I got to check the injury report.
All right, let's go around the NFL a little bit here and get your thoughts. Tom Brady beats Bill Belichick last night, Sunday Night Football extravaganza in Foxborough. Brady chants were echoing through the entire area of Massachusetts before the game began. Then they booed his ass as he came onto the field.
Oh, yeah.
Couple missed throws. Seems like the schemes that the Patriots are running where we're not going to make any mistakes. We'll let the Buccaneers fuck up. There was a couple of those. They inevitably get a win at the end with Ryan Suckup being the superstar. Which, by the way, the Goat Bowl revolved around kickers. No big deal. Could have never guessed that would happen, just like every other big game, it feels like. But Tom becomes the 4th quarterback of all time to beat all 32 teams. AJ, your thoughts on that game?
Well, I was thinking of Gump throughout this whole game. I go, oh, this is a real cagey match. There was so much hype and so much buildup that it never really got going, did it? Even I expected, okay, second half, here we go. Let's see what happens. But I think the elements were definitely a part of it. And, yeah, the Patriots defense, that's what you mentioned before this game. Hey, Bill Belichick always seems to find a way. And the more impressive thing is that the guys know how to execute it. If you can switch your game plans up and change things and give multiple different looks, I'm more impressed that the players can actually execute it in prime time in one of the most anticipated regular season games we've ever seen.
And I think, although you just said you're impressed with the players being able to do it, I think the Belichick-led Patriots for the last 20 years have had expectations on the players like, hey, when you come here, this is what you're going to have to do. So the expectations have been set. The Patriot way is the Patriot way. The standard is the standard. Everybody says that. And Tom knew that going in. Allegedly, from my sources told me that this was viewed like a Super Bowl week. This was a big week down there by Tampa. Not just by Tom, but by the entire team. Hey, this is a big fucking game. Not just because it's the next game, which is the standard cliche, but because this is a game that people are going to talk about forever. This is going to be a conversation piece forever. And Bill Belichick knew that, and he said, I'm going to make this thing as boring as fucking possible. I'm going to drop 8. Everything's going to stay in front. They're going to kick field goals if they're going to beat us, and we can't make any mistakes. We understand that. Boring game in the end when it came to scoring, but every single little joust, I feel like we respected more. Every night that moved up and over, every single move, every open Sicilian play that was made on both sides of the plate was something I respected and appreciated. At Boston Connor, obviously our New England Patriot fan resident. You had a terrible week last week.
Yeah.
He's in a much different mood this morning. He feels good about what happened last night as a Patriot fan, as he should, I guess.
Big moral victory, right?
Yeah, big moral victory. Bill Belichick, you guys love this.
Yeah, no such thing. But to your guys' point, about talking about this game forever, what are you guys going to take away? Because obviously for me, it was that Mac Jones can handle the pressure and the big lights and that Belichick.
19 straight Mac Jones completed in the third quarter there for a little bit. And there was a couple with massive pressure in his face. Big boys, by the way. Big bodies in his face. There was an out he threw in the fourth quarter that looked like he just hucked it almost, as if he didn't know how to throw a football, and somehow that thing was like a punt almost, landed perfect, and the guy caught it right on the sideline.
Yeah.
And there was a couple plays made by Mac Jones last night where I was very impressed. There was a couple facial expressions made by Mac Jones where I'm like, oh, that guy's a fucking 12-year-old, and then, oh, that guy has a lot of passion. I think Mac moved up the ranks even more. I think the Patriots team is much better, I assume, than we've been talking about. I think that's a big takeaway. But ultimately, in the end, Tom Brady and Bruce Arians and the Buccaneers, who Bruce said at the beginning of the year, our team's winners. That's what we are. They get a win. Now, that's after a loss to the Rams, so take that how you may. But what a game. What a fucking game. I enjoyed it.
Oh, yeah. I definitely enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. Like, it felt like a huge game when you're watching the lead up to it and everything. And you see Breeze and I don't know what the umbrella. I know people talking about the umbrella for Rodney. What is it because he had his phone? Did he have to reference notes in his phone in his left hand early on?
So I think, and I was thinking about this immediately upon it happening, when three other men who are much older than you are holding their own umbrellas. I thought it was because he's on the far right side of the TV. So I think he wanted to have the microphone maybe in his left to keep everything like kind of closed in or whatever. Whatever the case is, maybe there's a reason, maybe there's a better explanation.
He was holding his phone, though. In the opening shot, it's the first thing I noticed. I'm like, why isn't Rodney holding his umbrella? And I look, in his left hand, he's holding his phone. He eventually put it in his pocket, but maybe he wanted to reference that for his whatever comments when they originally came to him.
So I did not see the phone the first time he used it. I know it wasn't in there later because there was multiple times where you're looking like, can this motherfucker just not hold an umbrella, or what is the case? I'm sure he has a reason behind it, but somebody at Football Night in America should have gotten his ear and said, hey, you look like the biggest fucking asshole on earth right now. Yeah. You look like a terrible person. Just hold the umbrella, even if it's potentially going to stick into Dungies because of how close they had to stand or whatever the case was. You should be doing what that hand is doing, that we don't know the sex of the hand, but we do know, like, if that is a lady looks like she is, that would get tiring. If she is stressing at all and you're one of the most able, or even just a tiny little man doing this thing, not a jacked Rodney Harrison holding it. Imagine them shaking in that thing. It was like a 20-minute time period of holding this umbrella. Somebody should have just said, hey, Rod, hey, you're doing great on TV. You look like an asshole right now, though, and it seems like that message never got sent.
Yeah, I wonder how he would respond today. I've done some radio shows with Rodney and played golf with him out in Tahoe. He's a great dude. Like, you should see him. It's a weird thing, but you should see. Have you ever watched him online? Like, I think he's posted some videos of him stretching. He's like crazy flexible. I don't know why that came to my head, but it did.
Well, you're saying he's physically capable to hold an umbrella, I think.
He's jacked. Yeah, I've seen him out in the weight room out there too.
So do you not think he saw the other three holding it and was like,
maybe he thought it was sweet. Maybe he's like, oh yeah, I'm a boss.
That is hilarious, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, hold that fucking umbrella.
Was there an option too? Was he the only one that's like, hey, you can either hold your own umbrella or somebody can come in and hold it for you? It's up to you.
I don't know, but he pretty overwhelming landslide that he looked like an asshole.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Somebody should.
I'm sure people ask him. I'm sure he'll have to talk about it at some point.
Because I've never met him. I enjoy his work on TV. He's been on TV since the day he retired.
That's the first thing I noticed though. This shot. First thing I was like, oh, sweet. Who is that hand?
Yes, who is the hand? Then I started like zooming in. I was standing up next to the TV actually, like looking at the hand. I'm like, whose hand could that? That hand is never lifted a shovel, by the way.
No way.
I don't think one time.
It's a foxy hand.
That was very well manicured.
Now we got to take shots at the hand that we don't even know who it is?
Yeah, you're taking that as a shot. I don't know if the person will take it as a shot, especially with how nice their hand is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not sure they take that as a shot at all.
Maybe they hired a hand model to do it, actually.
Because it was a good hand.
Yeah. Great hand.
It was a great
It'd be
hand.
money well spent for sure.
Yeah, got a lot of action, a lot of conversation. They should have put a little ad on that hand right there.
Or watch even.
Applebee's. They should have put Applebee's. Yeah.
Half off halves.
It was a good hand. Sturdy as fuck.
Oh, yeah.
I thought there had to be something on there. Like it had.
They may have rotated out. Could you tell? Was there
Same
multiple different
hand.
hands?
Same hand. Same hand. Same hand.
Was it? I heard people thought it might be Jack Collinsworth. That's probably not the case.
Maybe.
It could have been. Or
Maybe.
Sims.
Sims was in the studio.
Oh, it was.
Normally Sims on field. This particular big game, get in studio.
Could have been Siciliano.
I think they did. I think they had Sims and Maria.
Sims coached for the Patriots for a year or two.
Yeah, I do believe it. 1 year. Yeah, he did. I think they did that just in case power goes out or whatever. Like they had them at the studio, and normally they're at the field when they're at the studio, because if you lose anything, you lose everybody maybe, and you could send, like if the weather got terrible, and you could send to the studio.
Designated survivor.
Anytime. Bingo.
Boom.
Sims and Maria. But I'm sure that I thought about that. I'm like, oh, biggest game yet, and they're not allowed on the fucking field. Every week they're on the field. It's like, no, this one you're not allowed on the field.
Interesting.
Though. That's unbelievable. Sims and Maria didn't deserve that.
No, they didn't.
Need to break down more film. Let's go to a couple other things around the NFL. Cleveland Browns and Vikings was maybe the most boring game of all time.
Yep.
Yeah, and people talk about how they want to see more defense in the NFL. I was thinking of that yesterday. I'm like, do you guys really want to see like super high quality defense for 4 quarters? I don't think so.
And by the way, AJ Hawk, all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers, is stating that. That's just like whenever a team opts not to punt and they opt to go for it, everybody's like, oh, Pat's going to hate this or whatever. It's like, no, like I like teams going for it. I've actually been a part of a motivating team to Bruce Arians in his ear to fucking go for it on like a 4.5 yard in our own 20 in the first quarter of a game. Like just because, I happen to play a position doesn't mean I'm not a fan of the game as a whole. And when teams are scoring and offenses are working, it's much more optically pleasing. But I do love when it seems like a defense is completely smothered in offense. It's just burying a fucking offense. You know what I mean? Like I enjoy watching that, but at some point I'm like, they're going to have to start scoring then. Like the defense has to start. Somebody has to start scoring because this is starting to feel like soccer right now. This is starting to feel like soccer right now.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, not having Gronk, the rain, all of it affected Tampa Bay. I'm not worried about Tampa Bay, though. I think some people might be. I'm not. I still feel like they're going to be there at the end with a chance.
How about Ben Roethlisberger? He's dead, huh?
I feel really good about where the Steelers are and where Ben is, I think, too.
Really? Straight face right there? Yeah? Is that like...
after that, you know what? After the first drive, I was like, okay, here we go, Ben. They put up 7 points, right? All right. And then didn't really figure it out after that.
And maybe my take is because I didn't get to see the first quarter and a half. What the fuck, dude?
CBS. That can't happen again.
That can't happen.
No.
Wait, what happened? It cut out or something? What did it do?
So Colts-Dolphins was our local game on CBS. Colts just handle the Dolphins.
Oh, yeah.
Inspire Indianapolis to think that the team doesn't stink, by the way, even though there were some parts of that game where all Colts fans were thinking, I can't believe this team stinks like this. I can't believe our team's going to stink. They just so happen to play against a team that seemed to stink much more than our team stunk. Ain't that right, Gumpy, you'd say? Dolphins seem like they stink. He's muted.
Mike.
He's still muted.
He said very, very bad, very, very bad.
Still muted. Your mic's not on. Okay. That's what the Dolphins look like.
That's it.
Yeah. That's what the Dolphins look like yesterday. That is exactly what they look like. It's one of those things where that game was over. Then they cut to the Titans-Jets game, I guess, on the CBS thing. We had different channels on, obviously. And then we saw that the Packers-Steelers was going at 4:25, 4:30. And then for whatever reason, it just never stopped. The Titans-Jets game just never stopped. It just kept going. And all of a sudden, I'm like thinking, like, oh, they must not have started the Steelers-Packers game yet. They're just waiting. Is there a weather delay? It's like, no, Ben just threw a 65-yard touchdown or a 45-yard touchdown. He's like, Ben Roethlisberger just threw a 45-yard touchdown. I'm watching this fucking shit right now. And then people started attacking us. Oh, good Sunday. We did. Okay, that's where the Titans-Jets game was. It was on some 700 fucking channel. It's on our CBS national channel for some reason. I have no idea why. We were unable to watch it unless we went to channel 702 and it was on a tiny little square in the sports mix. It's like, what are we doing? What type of amateur Bush League shit is this? Especially with the Steelers, Packers, which are two national fan bases. Like that is it's just and they said it's like some rule they abide by. Well, fuck it, dude. It's ruining everything.
Well, and you knew once they went to overtime that it was going to go the entire period, and there was nothing you could do about it. You were just going to have to sit there and take your medicine and watch the whole goddamn thing, and all the reviews took 15 minutes longer than they should have. It was a nightmare. Hopefully it never happens again.
Hopefully it never happens again. We got to get to a break because we got Darius Butler on the other side. Can't wait to hear what he has to chat about. There was some refs shit again. Yep. Offensive pass interference might have been the emphasis of the week, by the way. There seemed to be a couple of those called. Mm-hmm. Seemed like there might have been some push-off conversations amongst the refs. So we got to get to a break. Zito found the picture of the umbrella holder.
Right here.
She's a fucking rock star, dude.
Yeah.
She had that thing rock. Look, that's like a half curl.
Yeah. For the above shoulder.
Too.
Yeah.
Someone holding an umbrella
That's
for her,
mean
too.
calisthenics.
Incredible work, lady. Wow. Thank you, lady. Thank you so much for what you did out there. We appreciate you. All right.
I hope you rotate to the left hand for maybe like the second half of it because your right shoulder would feel like, okay, I just burned out. And
she did not change.
No, I think she did actually because you could see it on the photos. It is a left hand and a right hand, I think, in two different times.
I thought it was her just holding it upside down.
She thinks she flipped her hand like that.
Oh, okay.
All right, let's get to a break. Darius Butler's on the other side, maybe. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, it's possible.
You know, some people are really strong with just 2 fingers.
Yeah. That's right.
Oh.
And then some people. All right, we're back in 4 minutes. Cheers. all the hard work throughout my entire life, whether it was driving me to practice, to go to work, the coaches that invested hours in me, everything I have done to get to this point. I got a whole town, a community, a family, a tribe of people watching me potentially live out my dreams that we all thought was going to happen. And when I get to Rock, I get a chance to carry 8 motherfuckers that are playing for a team that is in the city that I went to college in. I carry 8 people, have the biggest moment in my football career, maybe make a team, if not with the coach somewhere else. Hey, that guy's got juice, let's do it. Change the entire direction in the course of my family's life. I can't be excited though.
No.
Don't even think
Don't
about
you fucking dare.
Are you kidding me? Are you? All that just happened and everything I just said there and more is potentially happening in that one play? Don't even fucking think it. Get your fucking ass back in the huddle. You know Barry Sanders? Hey, Barry Sanders, he'd score a touchdown and he would just hand it to the ref and he was gone. Why don't I? Well, Barry Sanders also won the Heisman, right?
Yeah.
It was also like the all-time leading scorer in this whole thing. Barry Sanders was unbelievable, worked his ass off. Let's not get crazy. And Barry Sanders had the ability to act like he had been there before because Barry Sanders, by the way, had fucking been there before. And maybe Barry Sanders, the way he goes about business isn't how everybody goes about business. Maybe there's a lot of different stories, a lot of different situations, a lot of different life events that lead to somebody acting differently than somebody that just acted, almost robotic while being one of the most exciting and electric players in the history. Got nothing but love for Barry Sanders. Let's not get crazy. But there's a lot of people tweeting, act like you've been there before. It's like, you think this motherfucker's been there before? This dude just carried 8 people and maybe changed the entire life. He can't be excited. Aren't we a game of emotion? Aren't we a game of excitement? Why is this a fucking penalty? Hey, Goodell! Hey, eating your M&Ms, sitting on the chair, being cool. You became my commissioner. You weren't my commissioner when, hey, you dance, you're fucking out. Your socks slide, you're fucking out. We don't want anything. We want robots, no emotion. Everybody hated you then, Raj. All right, everybody hated you. And nobody understood why you're trying to take the fun out of the game. You're doing it because you want to be able to just pluck and play. You didn't want to have players be brand names because then you could replace them easily. Okay, I understand the business side of it, but we all agreed, the tribe has spoken, that the game's better when people are excited. Some things are too much. All right, some things are way too much. There were some dances that happened that looked a little bit more like basketball, where we're all like, there's no way that can happen with a full line dance. We get it, there was some. But it added to the game. The excitement added to everything. Now taking away this and making it a point of emphasis. And I'm not saying that there should be egregious, if something egregious happens, they should penalize them. Yes, please. It's not for the good of our game, not for the good of the league, not good for fans, not good for anybody. I understand that's going to happen, but a point of emphasis means, hey, we're cracking down on this because we don't want it to happen anymore. And why are we targeting that as opposed to targeting something else I'll never understand? My commissioner, Roger Goodell, is going to get to the bottom of this if Sam Acho doesn't do it first.
Yeah.
This is the Pat McAfee Show on Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. We thank you for taking the time to seek out this small regional show that streams internationally. Here's Pat and the boys.
We're not talking about it anymore. Welcome back. We're not talking about it anymore.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You know. There was
I don't know what goes on like during the breaks over there.
You could probably guess. There was a spirited conversation
You can
in
put
here
your finger on it.
about 2 of them.
2 of them, actually.
We decided we weren't going to talk about it anymore because honestly, that's a sad situation. Joining us now is a man who played in the NFL for 9 years in the secondary corner, safety, nickel, everything. Right. Hosted a Man-to-Man podcast and everything DB. FanDuel's own, ladies and gentlemen, Darius Butler.
What's up, fella? What did I miss with the 2 fingers, man? What did I miss?
There's an alternate angle out of the bar in Columbus, Ohio.
There's a fastball either.
There's a alternate angle. I mean,
Hey, we talked about on Herb on this show before it happened. But we won't get into it. That's AJ's guy.
Well, we're not talking about it anymore. We decided during the break we won't talk about it anymore unless you have any more information. It was announced this morning by a reporter asking the question to Urban Meyer. So it came out through the question basically that Urban did not fly back with the team on Thursday night. The head coach.
That's wild.
Why? That's what I said. Like, that was pretty alarming to hear that happened. The head coach, and I think
Had
that's
to see the grandkids.
Yeah, had to see the grandkids. Obviously, had to hang out, had to stick around. The whole thought of the Urban Meyer experience right now is probably a nightmare for him. If you had to imagine, huh, Darius?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's different. It's different. You get away with a lot being a college coach. It's a little different on the NFL stage. But he's enjoying himself. I mean, I won't judge his personal life. I'll just judge his Sundays.
Well, the Sundays are bad too, and the Thursdays weren't great. And then it turns out some of the decisions.
Thursday was good for about 59 minutes.
You're right. Team looked better. Actually, whenever we watched them play, Cincy, I think we all said on Thursday, "Oh, this team isn't going to go completely defeated." And then we hear. Never mind. Let's talk about some other shit. Going around the NFL, Trayvon Diggs, is he the greatest player of all time? Does he have a magnet attached to him? How is he getting so many turnovers? Is this something that happens where they come in bunches, or is he just flying around making plays for the Dallas Cowboys that beat the hell out of the Carolina Panthers yesterday?
Yeah, you've heard that. They come in bunches, and he's one of those guys who's always around the ball. He went into Alabama, I believe. I know he's a returner and a wide receiver, so he has the ball skills. And he's confident, man. He's confident because some of them are zone coverage, but it's tough to get interceptions in man-to-man coverage in the NFL. And he's doing it. He's anticipating things. He's really believing his eyes and trusting himself and making some great plays, man.
Hey, D-But, last night in the Bucks game, when you see Richard Sherman, first off, he signs on Wednesday. He starts Sunday night in a giant game. First off, how difficult would that be? And I'm sure you noticed it. You see, like, when Max started throwing his direction, you see McDaniels too. Like, they start motioning down these little two-man stacks and making those. You got to have these in and out reads and everything. And Sherman, he can't really guess right because he hasn't been working with these guys. He's not exactly sure how they're going to play off everything. Like, how tough is that? What he was able to do, I guess.
I mean, that's really, really tough to do because I don't care how great a shape you're in, man. It's nothing like playing, actual football. So to get out there, I think he signed on Wednesday. And to get out there and play a Sunday night game and playing corner at that, like that's incredible. Not only from the physical standpoint, being able to go, the whole ride, 60 minutes, but actually the mental, being able to communicate, knowing the calls. I know, the safeties and the coaches probably had to do a little extra communication to him. That's tough, man. Sherman's one of his things about him, he's been a super, super smart player his whole career. The thing about me was, would he be able to survive the whole game? And he did, even though Mac Jones, kind of targeted him. They put that red dot on him for a while. I think he pretty much held his own. Got a turnover, jumped on the fumble. So that was a very impressive performance by Sherman just to be able to get through that whole game.
We talked about last week, we cannot judge Richard Sherman on what he does in this game because he literally even came out last week and was like, I should not be out there. I should not be out there right now. And BA's like, hey, we ain't got nobody else, baby. Get your fucking ass. We literally have nobody else. They got somebody hurt again. I think Davis III got hurt again last night. I mean, they are thin in the secondary. How can you change if you're that thin in the secondary? What do you got? You got to ramp up exotics and pressures, or do you try to protect that? What do you think is the best way whenever you got a very young and maybe fourth stringers out there in the secondary? How do you hide that? Is it even possible?
Yeah, the last thing you could do is ramp up those pressures. You really got to lean on that front four to get after. And Vita Vea is an absolute monster. Damn. Like he's getting guys free to the rusher. He's creating penetration every pass and snap it seems. So that's you really got to lean on that front four because on the secondary you got to keep two safeties back as much as possible because you don't want to leave those guys on an island. They got our former teammate Pierre Desir back there. They got Sherm who just came in, and then a bunch of Crockwell in the slot. So they literally lost their top, I think, 3 corners to start the season. So it's tough on them, but Todd Bowles, they've been adjusting and doing enough to win. It was an ugly game last night, and Mac Jones got hot. He hit like 19 completions in a row, which is super, super impressive for any quarterback, but especially a rookie quarterback. So I think they'll figure it out. And Tom, week in and week out, he's going to put up, 30 points. Obviously, it was ugly last night, but he'll put up 30-plus points. So the defense just kind of got to bend and don't break.
Another primetime game yesterday, Cardinals-Rams. The Kyler Murray-led Cardinals for the last couple of years seem to be inconsistent. They were up some days, they were down some days. There was moments of like, oh, this team can go win this whole damn thing. This past offseason, they invest, they get older at some positions. Obviously, everybody's making plays. The Cardinals seem to be the squad right now. Now, what have you done for me lately? They just went into LA and beat the Rams, which was everybody's squad. Okay, after the Rams beat the Bucs, this team's going to go. What are your thoughts on the Cardinals, and can they maintain this thing? Buda Baker, flying. Chandler Jones, flying. That defense is Simmons seems to be doing his thing. Can they maintain this level that they're at right now? They're going to have to, I guess, in the NFC West.
I think so, man. Vance Joseph's been doing a great job with that defense, putting the players in positions that they can be aggressive, and they're making plays. I think, honestly, a lot of their success this season, even if you go back to week 1, it started with their defense. And Kyler Murray is obviously, he's taking that step. I think a lot of people expect him, to take that step last year. We're kind of impatient with the quarterbacks, but he's definitely taking that step this year. It's to the point where you watch the Cardinals play on offense and you rarely see like a negative play, and you see that with a lot of the great quarterbacks. They continually get positive plays. And with him, it can be his arms or his legs. He's damn near impossible to stop when he runs the ball. He barely gets hit. He's usually even sliding or running out of bounds when he does run. And then throwing the ball, he can hurt you. And it's tough as a DB, especially for your safety. You can barely see that dude behind that offensive line. So when the ball does come out, it just comes out like a rocket. And he's a special athlete. You see why he was the first player ever drafted, first round in baseball or in
Top
football.
10.
Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, there was a couple like video game like throws that he threw like over the linebacker in front of the safety, that end zone. It looked literally like a video game, the shot of the whole thing. He's unbelievable to watch.
Every week, man.
Ty, go ahead.
Debo, yesterday in the Packers-Steelers game, Jair Alexander had like an AC joint sprain. Have you ever dealt with anything like that? It seems like that's the kind of thing where guys get it and then it just lingers for the rest of the season and they miss a lot of time. Do you have any idea like how long it would take a DB to recover from that, and is there cause for concern there?
I mean, that's a pain. One of those pain. How much can you manage the pain? How much can you tolerate it? A lot of guys I know kind of deal with that for a career, or years after. It's just kind of one of those things that just bother you. Great play by him in that flat, by the way, but it's tough. But I think he'll be all right. Most guys barely miss games, honestly, because guys are used to playing through some type of pain. So, Jair, I think he'll be out there. He'll get back out there. He'll be all right. That's a pain management thing, though. I dealt with it probably twice in my career, and you do what you got to do to get through the games. Probably miss some practices here or there, but I think he'll be all right in the long term.
You just put in 100 shots in there, tore it all. Let me eat that thing.
Yeah, whatever you got to do, man. You usually put like a little donut on your on your AC too, to kind of give so that when it hits the pad, it kind of disperses the impact and doesn't cause so much pain. But it's tough. At some point, you're gonna feel it, and it just sucks. But guys play through it.
Yeah, it does. It does suck. There's different levels to it as well. It's something you definitely have to deal with. You have to tackle a little differently if it is super painful. But but what about those Pittsburgh Steelers? Like, how high are you? You think these guys are they ready to take off? We haven't really seen what they can do offensively yet.
I mean, we've seen what they can do offensively.
Absolutely. What can they do? How can they get better?
I don't know. You can't be serious with this. Like, ready to take off. I mean, they look bad, man. They look bad on offense. Obviously,
what would you do?
I mean, you can't. I heard my guy Dahn. He comes out aggressive on Mondays, and he said, "Hey, we should bench Big Ben.
Fire Nagy. Fire
Nagy." But he was right. Nagy did stop calling the plays. Shout out to Laser, so that was big.
Great presser he had too.
Yeah, I tip the cap to Nagy for that. Letting Bill call the plays, and then still letting everybody know that it still goes through him. Yeah. So that was good for him.
Who's the fucking head fucking coach? That's what I thought. Love that.
But yeah, it stinks for the Steelers right now. But I don't think it's time to bench him. A lot of season left. And then who you have behind him? You got Dewey Haskins and Mason Rudolph. I think if you bench him now, it kind of sends a terrible message to the rest of the team, like this season's over. But this offseason, they definitely got to address that position. I think that the best days of Big Ben is behind them. And it's 39, man. Father Time gets us all, except for Tom Brady. It stinks. They're going to have to move another direction pretty soon here.
Tom Brady's eating avocado ice cream. I'm not sure Ben's doing that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely not.
And I think Aaron's going to be able to go, by the way, I think for another 6-7 years with all the modern advancements in technology, 8 years maybe with the way he takes care of himself. Ben's an old school player. off the field as well as on the field. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think that's why his body is potentially catching him more than anybody else, but maybe he'll have a resurgence here like AJ's calling for. Brand new offense. They're kind of delaying another year of offense installment with Ben Roethlisberger. All the Rooney families come out and say, who says this is the last year for Ben? I mean, he might come back next year or whatever. Matt Canada, offensive coordinator, is going to have to reinstall the offense again next year. I mean, it's quite a scene over there in the AFC North. Go ahead, Connor.
Yeah, Deba, mentioned the Bears. Do you think there's any chance that they don't just keep rolling with Fields, especially after the win on Sunday? And then also now with Trey Lance, do you think if he has any sort of success, it's going to be pretty tough to go back to Jimmy G?
It's going to be tough to go back to Jimmy G. The reason they jumped up there and drafted Trey was not because of the play, but because he can't stay healthy. And, that's no fault to him. But having that calf strain, Trey Lance got in there. I don't think he's ready right now, but if you keep him in there for 3 weeks and you consistently see some improvement in his game, it's going to be hard to go back from Jimmy G. And now you're going to go into a game where you have, full game plans of, for Trey Lance being your starting quarterback. So you're sitting down with him, hey, your first 15 plays, let's script it. What do you like? What don't you like? Your red zone package, your third down packages. So the offense, I think, is going to look completely different going forward for San Fran. It's going to be like, okay, can he consistently get better? Same thing with Justin Fields. Justin Fields, unfortunately, he has Matt Nagy as a head coach who's already come out and said, hey, when Dalton's healthy, he's going to be our starting quarterback, which is, it's ridiculous. I think you should just say, hey, we'll kind of address that when we get there. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But I think Justin Fields showed some promise, made some plays. And shout out to Laser once again, man. He called a good game.
Yeah, well, obviously, Nagy let him do what he wanted to do over there. But I saw a shot on the sideline where it appeared as if maybe it was Laser. I don't know who the coach was. Might have been Laser showing the card of plays, I think, and probably going through like, hey, in this situation, we're going to do this. Andy Dalton was standing there right next to the whole thing, and Justin Fields was giving his answer. Andy Dalton was watching Justin, I think, in the picture. Now, it's hard whenever everything's 2D, but I think Andy Dalton is like going to enjoy this role of like, because it felt more like Andy Dalton was wondering what Justin Fields was thinking to what that person was saying, the coach was saying, as opposed to what the coach was saying to Justin Fields, if that makes sense. Andy was watching Justin as opposed to watching the person. And the way it looked whenever I was watching, it was Andy was wondering if Justin was getting what the fuck that guy was saying, or like, hey, you're allowed to say something differently. Andy, I think, has come out and said he likes Justin. Justin has come out and said the same thing. Why not just let this happen the way like Hasselbeck was Luck's backup? Why not just let Dalton be Justin Fields' backup and say, hey, you're allowed to say this to a coach when they're doing this. You're allowed to expect this on this. This is how you do the media. I don't know. It seems like Andy Dalton's the perfect guy for it, but this is all from me reading a 7-second shot on TV, and it might have been wrong. Go ahead, Diggs.
Deba, in your career, did you ever have such a perfectly formed tackle that it caused the fumble, but the tackle was so well that the refs thought that your forward progress was stopped? And is forward progress the worst call in NFL right now?
I hate it. I hate the forward progress shit. And that hit that Chin had, that was like the perfect form hit. Like, not, of course his forward progress stopped. He got a perfect hit, and should have been a fumble, should have been a turnover. And I don't think you can challenge that. You still can't challenge that, which is also terrible. But I absolutely hated that. Never did that happen in my career, not in my pro career. I didn't have too many hits. I didn't have too many hits like that.
Hey, a lot of offensive pass interference. You got to love that, huh?
Yeah, not enough though. Should have called one Mike Evans early next year. Maybe it would have tilted that Patriots. We got Patriots got a couple calls though. Which, hey, told y'all that was going to be a close game. Almost pulled it off. I might have jinxed it. My bad, Connor.
No, I don't. By the way, Connor's celebrating the way that game went. He's just happy that
he should.
Hey, the Patriots look good. I thought the Patriots played their best game by far, right?
The Patriots look good. Obviously, Bill Belichick, he was in a meeting room and on the practice field against Tom Brady for 20 years. He's probably been game planning in the back of his mind for him for 2 decades. So that didn't surprise me. What did surprise me was Mac Jones, man, because bad weather game. You're going. Everybody was talking about Tom and Bill, but those guys have been in a million huge games. This was obviously Mac Jones' biggest moment, and he showed up. And I think the Patriots fans should definitely be happy that they found their guy for the future, because he was ice cold. I thought for sure when he got that ball that he was going to drive him down, put him in the field goal range, and kick that field goal. Now, I thought they kicked it. The whole operation took, they didn't take enough time, in my opinion, because you would have kicked it off back to Brady, which we know how that's going to end. So, but Mac Jones, he did a job, man. He did enough. And, it was a good attempt even on that 56-yarder that barely hit that point. But good game. I would definitely be happy if I was a Patriot fan.
I had no idea Nick Folk could go from that far. Bruce Arians said, fuck, I saw him 60 in the warm-ups. Shit. I mean, that ain't nothing to me. I didn't know Nick Folk still had it. So close. But even if he makes it, to your point, situational awareness, what's going on with the Patriots? Letting Tom Brady have 55 seconds? Can't do it. Aaron Rodgers was given 37 seconds, and that coach was accosted forever. Bill almost did that last night. Tom Brady, the fucking GOAT, the guy that he won a bunch of games with tonight. Raiders, Chargers. What are you thinking? Which way you leaning? AJ Hawk has his pick. He likes the Chargers. He's already locked in. What are your thoughts this evening when, in a classic AFC West matchup, two teams very good, very, very fucking good at football tonight. We got a good one. What are your thoughts?
I think we'll have 2 3-1 ball clubs after this one. I'm with the Chargers too, man. I like Herbert though. I've been on the leader that Herbert fan club. So I'm taking him in this matchup. I like their defense as well. Their run defense kind of sucks right now, but that hasn't been a strength for the Raiders. So I'm going to go with the Chargers at home in that beautiful stadium over the Raiders, and they cover the 3-point spread.
Okay. Put Darius Butler on AJ Hawk's camp. Ladies and gentlemen, he joins us every single Monday, host of the Man to Man Pod and Everything DB. Former teammate of mine, incredible football mind. Ladies and gentlemen, Darius Butler. Thank you, D-Butler. Hey, D-Butt, don't be good dancing at Urban Meyer's pint bar, dude. Don't be dancing over there. Stay off the dance floor, dude. You too, AJ. What's that, right down the road, huh? You probably get, was it like are you like a fly with one of those purple lights? Like, is that what people in Columbus are like to that Urban pint bar? Is it like, hey, you got to go here, got to be to this place?
I don't know. I mean, I guess if you're down in that little area, it's this area that has a bunch of other stuff that just got built up. So, yeah, Maybe now it even gets more. I would imagine there's more people trying to get in there now. Don't you think? Okay, here we are. Where was it? Where was that video taken?
Hey, listen. Urban said, fuck, risk it all in this place. I'm looking to do the same thing tonight.
He's sitting right there.
Looking to do the Urban double guns here. Mm-hmm. Hey, can I get some of them tequila drinks that Urban had before that, that whole thing?
Give me 10.
Fucking Ohio people too, man. I had a bunch of people tweet me whenever I said I can't wait to talk about this Urban thing. It's going to be an interesting conversation on Monday. I didn't even imply that I was going to speak about it. I was just talking about the Urban Meyer conversation in general. I started getting attacked by Buckeyes fan. Oh, what? He was having fun? Guy can't have fun? What are you going to say?
Let him goose.
Well, at that point,
that wasn't out yet.
That had just came out today. And I will be...
He needs to find Jesus.
Guy loves big wet butts. What are you going to do?
Oh! All right, you guys.
Bring Tebow back.
There's no reason to puke.
Yeah.
Zito.
Send his application into PMI.
Urban Meyer.
I mean, if he likes big wet butts, we know that's a big hit in the office over there.
Nah, yeah, it's not. It's not anymore though, because I put strict legislation down. Real slick, strict legislation.
Slippery slope if you do it.
Wet butts do get slick.
Let's go to Colin in St. Louis on the 5 Energy phone line. Colin, what's going on, dude? Jesus.
Hey, Pat and the boys. Shout out Urban Meyer. Hope you were nice and comfy sleeping on the couch last night.
Oh, in the dog eyes. The Urban Meyer underdog eyes. What's going on, Colin?
Yeah, Pat, I wanted to get your thoughts on the Titans losing to the Jets. I'm sorry you were stuck watching that dreadful overtime, but I watched the whole game alongside my dad, and afterwards we wanted to claw our damn eyes. We came to the conclusion that the Titans should just tank the rest of the season to get a higher draft pick and take a quarterback who knows how to throw the ball.
Nice. Seems like this is a beautiful overreaction here on Monday from Cody in St. Louis there. Derrick Henry had to be averaging 11, 12 yards a run in that second half. I literally tweeted about it because the last few weeks, this has kind of been the thing about Derrick Henry, the dream model about Derrick Henry for the last 3 years. In the first half, they'll just continue to run the ball and he won't get much. And then they beat down the defense so much. And then in the second half, those 3-yard gains that were in the first half, he has enough speed are now 20, 25, 30. He's just pounding. They pound the rock. And then all of a sudden they got down 7 and they stopped doing it. They started throwing the ball. It seemed like they had a winning recipe in pounding Derrick Henry without A.J. Brown and Julio Jones, and they got away from it. I don't know if that's 100% Tannehill's fault. It didn't have his top 2 wide receivers, but I think some decisions that were being made should be called into question, A.J.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, don't you also have to give the Jets some credit? Like, they battled. They looked at times.
Yeah.
Okay, hey, the Jets may get their first win. Here we go. Oh, no, they ruined it. They're not going to get it. And then they fought back, and they found a way.
And they answered. Zach Wilson made some incredible plays there. Even the one that they kind of won that thing with, he pointed and said, go long, and then he threw a dime. If you're a Jets fan, you got to be pumped to be off the schneid. But if you're a Titans fan, you got to wonder, what the fuck happened? How did we lose to the Jets? How do we ruin the Super Boost? And how do we force all of America to watch us lose to the Jets? What a shame that Sunday was. Overreaction Monday will continue on the other side of this 6-minute break. Hour 3 on the other side. Whenever you're working on golf, do you still have the same routine that you had whenever you were younger now, or is it much different? And how often do you just go down there and just hit Phil Mickelson flop shots all day? But anytime you turn one sideways and you flatten it, you're like, oh, watch this. I'm going to do like Phil Mickelson does. And then you just go out there. Normally you either blade it, hit it straight up in the air to the right, or you somehow get lucky and it goes and everybody's like, oh my God.
Incredible shot.
Phil Mickelson. That's what that is kind of become, and I remember you hit the one over your head that one time. That was a mind blower from me. Is the short game something you've always just been good at, or are you good at it because that's all you work like so much on it at all times?
When I was a kid, my dad had a little chipping area in our backyard and putting green, and so I would just go out there and hit balls because I couldn't really go to the golf course, and all I did was shots inside 30 yards. And it got very monotonous to hit the same shot over and over, so I'd go behind the avocado tree. I'd go back around the other trees and bushes and rough and so forth. And so I would get creative as a kid hitting those shots. And you kind of learn a couple of things. But what I would say, Pat, is that there's really only one way to chip effectively, because you're coming in with no coverage on the ball. You're coming in with so much loft that the leading edge is coming in first. So you have to have your weight forward. That's it. You have to have your weight forward and drive the club down into the ground. And most people, when they do that, their hands either come back or their weight comes back and the leading edge comes up and blades it. Now, you can kind of flip your hands a little bit if you have a good lie. Like if the ball's sitting in the first cut or it's sitting up, but that technique will not work all the time. And so that's why I prefer and believe that the technique where you have your weight forward, your hands forward, and you drive the club down to the ground will be consistent every time. So lay that club flat, move that ball off your left toe, get that ball off your front left, there you go, and open that face flat and just drive the club down into the ground. The ball will pop up like a gem.
I think I'm a scratch golfer.
Let's go!
I think it makes sense, by the way, that your childhood was spent within 30 yards of a green. My childhood was spent kicking a soccer ball off the side of a house. Worked out for me. It's worked out for you much better. I just saw a picture of you getting out of, I think, a 757 that was from Jim Irsay. What was that, and have you ever been in that plane before?
I thought it was like the team plane to fly all of the Indianapolis Colts. Literally, I mean, it's got the logo on it, Pat, and it was awesome. But look, that's just Jim. Pat, I had a wonderful 14 years there. It's obviously the team that I wanted to play for always. I understood the decision he had to make, and no hard feelings. And for him to send his plane to fly me and my son down here, it was a great gesture. A lot of room for me and Marshall. We were throwing the football. Pretty cool experience. Pretty cool father-son weekend.
By the way, as he's moving from event to event right now, you are the best, dude. Where are you headed right now?
I'm going to the game. I got Lynch. I got Faneca. I got these guys in the background.
Boys, congratulations. Yeah! Congratulations, boys. All right, Peyton. Oh, hey, there he is. Marshall, I hope you enjoyed that plane, pal. Hey, Peyton, last thing here. You talking to Tom Brady, you becoming friends with him. It was interesting to watch. Oh, yeah, take the photo. Take the photo. All right, we will wrap this up.
Well, I'll tell you, Pat, I don't think anybody can do what Tom has done. Look, I know how hard it was for me to get on the same page with my receivers, learn a new system, learn new coaches. But I had a full off season. I was injured. I was rehabbing. The fact that Tom has done this in a COVID pandemic off season, no time to meet with his receivers. He met with his coaches illegally by breaking into Byron Leftwich's house. So besides that, it's been incredible what he's been able to accomplish, and he deserves all the credit. His leadership is what's put the Bucs in this game today, and I have great respect for him because I know how hard it is, but he deserves all the credit.
Hey, how did you know Red 18 was coming?
Pat, I mean, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you telling that story and just growing the legend. That was about the 18th time I tried it. I was over 17 going into that. And, when it doesn't hit, you just keep walking. Nobody ever really tells you about it. So when it hit, I was as surprised as you were. And the reaction from some of the good old folks there in the casino that night was pretty special.
Well, I appreciate you doing that. You made me and those folks in the casino a bunch of money. Congrats on the Hall of Fame nod. Thank you for spending time. Enjoy yourself at the game, Peyton.
Pat, thanks, pal. I appreciate you.
The Sheriff Hall of Famer, Peyton Manning.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about. Yes,
speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to that show here on Overreaction Monday, October 4th, 2021. A lot of people on the internet saying this is the most uncomfortable they've ever seen. AJ Hawk, hour 3 begins now.
Yeah.
The twine for that beat drop. AJ, great to see you. College football national champion, Super Bowl champion, and Ryder Cup champion now. AJ Hawk live in Columbus, Ohio, the home of a pint bar that was the conversation piece around the football world. At Tone Diggs is here, host of the Hammer Dahn Show, the COVID Cowboy, Pittsburgh Steeler fan, going down with the ship in Pittsburgh, although it does appear as if the ship is going down. It's getting loud over there. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe they'll be able to turn it around. Mike Tomlin's an incredible coach. That defense is very good. They lost to the Packers. At Ty Schmidt is here feeling great. And at Boston Connor, then all the boys behind the window. Taylor Heineke will be joining us in about 16 minutes. I would like to let everybody know here off the jump, there's some shit coming out of the Washington football team right now. Allegedly, the FBI or feds raided the building, and now the head trainer is in some shit or in some ongoing investigation. We know nothing about that. We will not ask Taylor Heineke about that. Just want to let everybody know, because I'm sure Taylor Heineke has not been informed on what a federal raid was about. He's probably worrying about football, but that is something that should be talked about. Anytime a trainer is involved, you would think it's something like,
drugs.
The Saints were involved in something like this. I think back
pills.
Pills. And I think prescriptions and stuff like that are normally talked about. We don't want to imply that that's what's going on, but in the past, something like this has happened. This is normally the case.
Yeah, I don't want to say any, allegedly, that's if you had to think, hey, the FBI is involved, they want to speak to a trainer. It's usually, I know back in the day when stuff like this would happen, it's because they get a little loose with the kind of pills and painkillers you give out, because I know they became super, super strict on that when I was in the league, from when I started until I left, with how guys even, if guys needed one, they snapped their leg in half to get 1 or 2 pain pills was tough, I guess.
Yeah, and you were at Green Bay, obviously, and then you went to a couple other places that were probably much differently than Green Bay, that didn't even offer Toradol to its players, which still, I don't know how you guys won football games. I have no idea how that happened, but even in my time from the NFL, and I think you're 2 years older than me, 3 years older than me, how many years?
Probably 3, I don't know.
When'd you go in the league?
06.
Yeah, so I came in 09, even 3 years older than me. God, this guy, look how young he looks.
I know, my God. Great skin.
AJ, stay away from those pint bars. As you guys get older, some decisions.
Great food there. Great food.
Great food, yeah. Great cocktails as well. And the environment is one that makes you feel like you need to have a good time.
Oh, yeah.
Almost to its own detriment.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
true.
But even whenever I got into the league, 3 years younger than you, it was much different then than it was as I got older, and there was a lot more protocols and guidelines. And I used to hear stories about the good old days on what it used to be like from players after games. Like you just used to be able to get, and not just players on the Colts. I'm talking about vets that came in to our team and used to talk about how it was other places. I think that was just kind of commonplace. Now there's like, hey, who all got prescriptions and how many did they get and why are you giving them that many? Well, we actually had like 200 more pills that we just gave out without a prescription. So, well, that's illegal. So, like there was a lot of that potentially happening, so they've tightened it up. So anytime this has happened in the past, it has been some sort of pill situation. We hope that's not the case. I hope the feds just had a mistake. You know, I hope the feds just accidentally rated the wrong football team that didn't have a name. You know, I think that happened. I assume nobody did anything wrong. We will not talk to Heineke about that because, once again, he knows nothing of it, I assume. In this hour, I would like to bounce around the internet with some of the greatest overreactions we found this morning. And I would like to let everybody know I have not read any of these. This was done by the Toxic Table and the boys in the back. A lot of Ty surfing through the hashtag PMS Overreaction Monday, which got up to the number 2 trend in the United States. Thank you all so much. Obviously, we do it because it's easy to search whenever you have a hashtag, but the fact that it trends, you guys are the fucking best, dude. Thank you so much for riding alongside of us on this dumbass ride of sports conversation every single day here on YouTube and Sirius. We appreciate you. Let's dive into some overreactions from around the Twitter world. Brody O. Hannes at B.O. Hannies says, with hashtag laser vision, shout out Bill, calling the offensive plays, the Bears will win the NFC North, hashtag PMS Overreaction Monday. This conversation leads to one that I had with Orlovsky a little bit last night, talking about the Patriots offense doing a little bit well, doing a little bit better last night, Mac Jones being able to move, because if you do recall, Orlovsky going into the season ranked the Patriots offense better than the Green Bay Packers offense, which led to a graphic that had the quarterbacks of the offenses that were ranked in the top 5 put up there. You saw Patrick Mahomes, you saw Tom Brady, you saw, I forget who else.
Dak, Josh Allen.
Then you saw Mac Jones up there, and you didn't see an Aaron Rodgers. So I immediately texted Dan and said, hey, Dan, did they force you to put one in there that's not supposed to be in there so that a conversation could happen? He goes, no, I believe it. So every week it has been a conversation off air between me and Dan about obviously the Green Bay Packers figuring out how to play fucking offense again after that first week that was bad. And just like old Brody has to say here, I appreciate the fact that Laser has made Justin Fields better, but Aaron Rodgers is still in the fucking NFC North, pal. I don't know how to say it. I love the overreaction. Justin Fields looked unbelievable. 5 of 7 on balls, I think, deeper than 50 or 20 or something. I forget what it was. They had some stat that was better than they've had in some time. Justin Fields looked great. Still got the Packers, though, AJ. Still got the Packers, Brody. Take it easy, Honest.
Yeah, as long as Aaron Rodgers is healthy, yeah, you would think the Packers are the far and away favorite to win the NFC North if nothing crazy happens. But yeah, I'm interested in watching the relationship between Nagy and Bill Lazor for the rest of the year. Like, how are they? Let's say they go play great again. I don't know why you're doing the 2-finger deal. I don't know what that means.
Well, it's not the finger gun here. I was going to add in there Justin Fields as well.
3 now. Okay, 3. Well, I'll let you get to that quick then. But yeah, I think it'll be fun to see Nagy how he responds next time, because I feel like, I know Ryan Clark had a big-time reaction when he watched Nagy's press conference on Get Up this morning. He and Rex, everyone had pretty strong takes.
Well, yeah, Nagy, tying the bow on that entire thing about Laser doing it with, but me, though. is definitely worthy of a conversation, but I mean, I'm excited to see Justin Fields and Laser get along. And that might have been Laser that was talking when Andy Dalton was over there. Seemed like it was going well. But Nagy, Laser, and Justin Fields are a massive, team that has to stick together. But if Nagy's not calling plays and somebody else is doing better, and the team is middle of the road, what if old Bill Lazor becomes the head coach of the Chicago Bears? Wow. Do you think old Nagy sees it from within? Maybe I'm going to get beat by my own guy within the own building because he knows how to talk to a young guy who can move and play better football altogether. Our team looked like night and day whenever Lazor was doing his thing and I was doing my thing. Zito, Bears fan, Bear. Dahn steak, victory steaks are so obviously delicious, but what are your thoughts on this whole thing?
I was going to say one thing real quick. So after Fields, after the postgame, he said that the calls were coming more calm. So everything that Nagy was, it was more intense, and like he couldn't understand him. So that's what happened last week there.
So he can communicate with him
a lot better.
And Nagy, maybe personality conflict. Who knows? I thought this about potentially Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins having a better connection because they might have similar personalities as maybe Kyler and Larry Fitzgerald did, or maybe Larry just, after 45 years in the NFL running a 4-4, maybe he is just disappearing. But it feels like Kyler and DeAndre are on a similar page on the field. That's a big deal. If people get along, they're going to do better. That's just how it goes, but you never know who's going to get along and who isn't.
Do you think this is more indicative of Fields having another game and a different play caller and all that kind of stuff, or the Lions might be as bad as we actually thought they were?
No, they're real good.
No, the Lions.
They almost beat the Ravens.
No, yeah, they did almost beat the Ravens. They inevitably lost after giving up a 4th and 19 and a potential delay game and then a 66-yard field goal, which is heartbreaking. That was after they booed their owner at halftime.
Yep.
I mean, the Lions are in a tough spot, but forget almost beating the Ravens. They snapped the ball off of Goff's nuts to the Chicago Bears 1st and goal. I mean, that is the Lions are cursed. Pay Calvin Johnson, dude. Just pay Calvin Johnson.
Easy.
None of this will happen. 1 week, it's a 66-yard field goal that's never happened after a delay game that was never called in a 4th and 19 that was somehow converted. You lose. And then this week, your center is literally snapping the ball. It's going off your quarterback and then going right to the other team when you're supposed to score. Do that again and a third time. You left 21 points on the board to a team you maybe could have beat, but instead you're the Lions. The curse still exists.
Same old Lions.
Same old
Forever
Lions.
cursed.
Gotta respect
But
him
somewhat
still
good.
having the "This is the year" shirt on. Foxy's still riding with him.
This is
somehow.
the year that the curse ends.
Maybe.
This is the year that they pay Calvin Johnson. They're already trying. They say, Calvin, how about a 70-hour-a-week work job?
It's easy.
A 70-hour-a-week job will pay your money back, and then they went down to 28 hours. They'll figure out how a couple tweets could somehow make for a couple $1 million in PR, which they would, by the way, if you were to actually factor that in and pay the money, and then all of a sudden, boom, they're off and running. The Lions don't stink anymore.
It makes no sense. It'll never make sense.
You think MCDC, I'll tell you what, man, after the 66-yarder and then after the 1st and goal and then the 1st and goal and then the 1st and goal situation yesterday, do you think he goes, because I feel like he is an open thinker, a free thinker.
Yes.
Do you think maybe that curse is, maybe it's real, man?
1,000%. He has thought about the curse.
Holy fuck.
I'll talk to Sheila, man. We gotta fucking get this figured out. I'm not gonna keep doing this week after week, man.
They're booing Sheila right now, too, Coach.
Big time.
Well, that breaks my heart. I mean, 'cause Sheila, no one wants to win more than Sheila, man. No one. Other than me, maybe, but outside of that, man.
What about Goff?
Yeah, JG.
He's tough. I like Goff, man, but he fucking stinks, man.
It wasn't his
quarterback.
All right, let's go to, let's continue.
Hey, hold on. I saw Sirianni freak out and go crazy on the ref.
Yeah, we'll get
Good
there.
to see some fire.
I assume we'll get there in these overreactions. I will assume we will get to the Philadelphia Eagles. He was not happy with that fucking ref. And I like that. I like a little, anytime you see these things or these are, look like you a little yoked up in there. I like what Sirianni had there with that visor with the pen still. I mean, they got fucking rotted in Andy Reid's victory parade back in Philadelphia to win 100 games with both teams there. I mean, that's tough to be Sirianni. Sirianni will get the boys right. Let's go to another overreaction here. Rasmus Dahlman, not to be confused with Ram Dass, who I read his teachings. What'd
you think?
Oh, yeah.
Never had to turn the book fucking sideways. I had to turn that son bitch this way, right here, to read. I thought all the nerds were reading books this way. Ram Dass says, nah, we're turning that son bitch sideways.
With the nudie magazine.
And then the words are like big, and then they're small, and then they're smaller, and then they're over here, and then you got to kind of keep up with the thoughts. But I'm going to be here right now, be where my feet are. It makes me feel a lot better when I get lost in my existence. Shout out to Ram Dass. This is not his tweet. This is Rasmus Dahlman. At Rasmus Dahlman. Love Kyler and the Cardinals, but they might be peaking too early. Oh, no. Rasmus says.
What do you want him to do? Should Kyler start throwing some more picks and just dropping the ball on the ground and fumbling, or what do you do?
So I think whenever you say somebody peaks too early, it's not saying that they're playing too good now. It's like, how can they continue to evolve and get better? Maybe they have got to a point where everybody will be able to expect what's coming from them because they played their best football on all three phases. Or also, this team might just be finding its stride like Tampa Bay did last year. I mean, this might be a team that just continues to go. That's why the hopes are all around them, AJ.
Well, I mean, if Kyler continues to play like this and he continues to stay healthy, it's hard to see a time when they're not going to be like up, when they're not going to be competing and down in the playoffs. Like, Kyler can do things that nobody else can do. The dude is so quick; he can buy so much time, and then he has an absolute rocket for an arm when he does throw it. That I don't really know how you can rush him. It's just he presents so many different problems, I think, for defense.
And he's shorter than a lot of the other quarterbacks, obviously. And he doesn't throw like right over top either.
No.
Like you would think, like Drew Brees, I think he had like the perfect form, Kyler, I think he'll go 3/4.
Oh, yeah.
He'll go side. I mean,
he's a second baseman, right? He's used to throwing from all different angles.
His fucking arm talent is filthy, though. I mean, it is. That's why I think last year everybody had such high hopes for the Arizona Cardinals, because they saw him make some plays and they're like, whoa, 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 whoa. I mean, motherfucker's on FaZe Clan. Of course, he's a baller or whatever. And I guess we have some Optic fans in the fucking office or whatever.
Whoa.
Fucking FaZe Clan till I die.
Hell yeah. FaZe up.
Till I die.
Face.
Bill.
Bill, you poser.
I thought he was a huntsman.
But he did enjoy the Chicago Huntsmen there whenever they did their thing because they were representing the Midwest. But I believe he's got back in the Optic squad, which I don't care about because I'm fucking FaZe Clan.
FaZe in, baby.
FaZe Clan, Kyler and Bronny's squad, obviously. And they were in a suite on the field, as I thought, watching their FaZe Clan teammate at SoFi Stadium dominate. But there were some plays last year that happened. It was like, oh, fuck. Like, if that guy gets it, he's going to be a problem. It seems like he's gotten it. Seems like he's figured it out. So is Cliff Kingsbury, by the way. So is Cliff Kingsbury.
Yeah, Cliff's figuring out exactly like what Kyler does best, how you can use him, and also what you can't forget, they have a defense. Like their defense can play. They can create turnovers, and they seem to be a pretty complete team right now. But you're right, like, what they are now compared to what they are at the end of November and December, like you have to be a different team by then.
Have to get better, have to evolve. I don't know how they're going to continue to do that, but if they do, I can't wait to watch them. They're going to be must-see TV, just like the rest of the Murderers Row that is the NFC West. Let's go through some more overreactions here before Taylor Heineke. At Orlando Vargas, something's getting blurred out. I don't know what happened up there. Is everything okay up there?
What's going on?
What happened to OVJ?
No, that's just how like the tweet's formatted. It's not. It's like the tweet behind the tweet, and then you blur.
Yeah, we
out.
believe you.
Okay, OVJ.
Show us the real.
Hashtag PMS overreaction. Sirianni is just a skinny Chip Kelly. Fire him. AJ, you were trying to get to this earlier, and I knew there was a chance we were going to find Sirianni in these overreactions because he is a lightning rod. When he speaks, you have to listen. Normally, in somebody else's Sirianni voice, you listen to Sirianni speak because of what this show has done, but also because he's such an interesting guy. What are the Eagles? I don't think any of us know. They got some big wins. They got blown out by the Chiefs on the road.
Oof.
The Chiefs finally cover for like the fourth time in 25 tries or whatever. They put together 4 good quarters. Sirianni was losing his mind. What happened yesterday, Coach, when Andy Reid came back to town, won his 100th game with a second franchise, only coach to ever do so, right in your face, and the refs were trying to fuck you. Coach Sirianni, what's the message to the team, and what are your thoughts as a whole?
Well, first and foremost, I take issue with that because Chip Kelly was having them do all of the bullshit with the body gurus and the shakes and stuff like that. If you remember correctly, I was having guys eat 10 to 12 boiled hot dogs before games. I don't think Coach Kelly was doing that kind
Vastly
of stuff.
different.
Much different. Listen, I'm starting to realize you need to run the ball in the NFL to win. You can't just throw it 75, 80 times a game, and teams are starting to kind of hone in on that with us. Jalen is basically the only source of offense that we have on the team, and quite frankly, I'm not doing a good enough job getting us into those situations where we can score points and win football.
Didn't Goddard make some plays yesterday?
Yeah.
Goddard made some
Smith.
plays. Devontae Smith's catch radius is absurd. He's making catches that he should not catch at all. So there is some upside, even though
Ertz is still doing it too. Ertz played well.
Jason Kelsey's still flying around out there. They have a pretty good, what is the defense?
Well, then why did we get beat by 15 points? I mean, all these guys are playing well. We have all these guys who are good and insanely talented. How the hell are we getting
Is
our
it the
ass
scheme,
beat
Coach?
then?
Is it you?
No,
Is
it's
it
not my
coaching?
scheme. It's not my scheme.
Are you sure it's not you?
What? I'm positive.
Why do you have so many pencils if you don't want to change your scheme?
Well, because, you find a couple plays that really work, and then we add a pen. We add a pencil. So the red one now is that play works like 70 to 80% of the time. The yellow ones are 80 to 90, and then the green ones are like the 45 to 50. Where
one.
Yeah, like if Jalen's really playing well, circle that one, see what we got. It's not the scheme. It's not the scheme.
People are saying maybe it's scheming because you got the players, but you're a first-year head coach. You're going to go through it regardless. I'm sure the Philadelphia Eagles fans will be very patient with you.
Yeah,
we'll see.
They won't rush.
I'm sure they didn't celebrate Andy Reid yesterday at all, and let you know that you fucking stink. I'm sure the Eagles fans didn't do any of that.
Seems like the tide is turning on Coach Sirianni.
Well, that's Philadelphia.
Yeah.
I mean, that's Philadelphia. That's an impossible task to sign up for. Let's go to another overreaction. This is from Anthony. At Not Sad Browns fan, Mike Tomlin is absolutely tampering with his behavior towards Aaron Rodgers, biting his lip like a girl, flirting with the starting quarterback, and clearly losing focus on the game. What's this all about? Hashtag PMS Overreaction Monday. And obviously this is a picture in a reference to Mike Tomlin calling a timeout when Aaron Rodgers tried to get him with too many men on the field. They had quite a little laugh, give and take. How you doing? Keep it moving. This follows Aaron Rodgers complimenting the city of Pittsburgh last week on this show, the nightly news, the morning news, everybody literally cooking up the idea that Aaron Rodgers is going to Pittsburgh. Now he and Tomlin are exchanging pleasantries on the field and off the field. AJ Hawk, best friend of Aaron Rodgers, your thoughts on all of this? And also, Aaron spoke glowingly of Mike Tomlin afterwards and even gave a shout out to the Iron City. Respect. Your thoughts, AJ?
I thought this was an awesome moment. I knew it was going to instantly be online. Everyone's going to check it out. Yeah, I mean, Aaron does this all the time, though, with coaches, with other players. Like, it happens a lot, but when it's a head coach and it's this obvious, and it's a guy like Mike Tomlin, and he did talk about him the week before, like, it's like, wow, is this a simulation? Like, are we living in this simulation theory? Like, how does this happen? But, I mean, there's crazier things have happened. Like, I don't know. Who knows what the future holds?
Well, and by the way, the universe, potentially gives you signs. Was that a sign? Did the universe give Aaron a sign? I'm not sure. I read The Alchemist. In that book, you read like this. And this be here now, you read like this right here. Mm-hmm. So it's like a calendar, a fucking big old calendar you can read. Yep. It's unbelievable, the Aaron Rodgers Book Club. But I think we heard from Matt Patricia. And Matt Patricia said he and Aaron Rodgers will stare each other down whenever he was coaching for the Lions. Because every coach that's ever coached in the NFC North, he talked to Chuck about Aaron Rodgers. He said, Aaron's probably the reason why I fucking retired. I got sick of having to deal with this guy 2 times a year whenever he was with the Bears. Matt Patricia said, Aaron and I have full moments. We'll stare each other down. And he'll ask me to basically do something. I'll ask him to do something. I like that Aaron is that confident. I like that Aaron knows exactly who to look for. He knew exactly that Tomlin was the one that called the timeout. And on the flip side, I like that Tomlin said, nah, motherfucker. That's basically what he said, as well as smiling at him. I enjoy those types of inside football things that are happening.
Yeah, that was a really cool moment. It was. And and I was glad for these guys because the Steelers look like shit. So at least they could have, for the next year, like, Rodgers is coming back to Pittsburgh. So
it's obviously very obvious he wants to play for Coach T. He's sick of that pretty boy LaFleur. He wants to play for a real man, real head football coach.
I think LaFleur is one of the upsides of Green Bay in Aaron's eyes. But listen to him talk about Tomlin was awesome because that's kind of how everybody speaks about Mike Tomlin, who might, and I'm not saying it's Overreaction Monday, so fucking get off me. He might have his first losing season in like 18 years or whatever.
Whoa.
Maybe. A lot of season left.
It was awesome. Heineke has moved to 240. Okay, I just found out.
Yeah, Coach Rivera speaking, giving the latest news. He has a press conference at 2:30.
Is he talking about the Feds?
So, apparently, it doesn't have anything to do with the team.
Well, the trainer's involved, though.
Correct.
The trainer's with the team.
Correct. Nick sent in a tweet that said, yeah, it was the trainer, but it has nothing to do with, like, the football team.
Oh, so he was running his own little side hustle.
Oh.
Criminal investigation that is unrelated to the team.
What could it be?
Had to be a part of the team if they raided the building.
Or is it
unless one person was doing all this on their own?
We'll ask Taylor Heineke about who would join us in 16 minutes. But I mean, that Washington football team, 3 exposés last year. They got the Feds raiding that building. Jason Wright and Ron Rivera just trying to win some fucking football games over there.
Pipes bursting in the stadium.
They got still winning.
Going.
Still winning.
Yeah.
Maybe Heineke and Fitzmagic are like the perfect quarterbacks for this situation. Like, hey, all hell has broken loose our entire careers. This, obviously, on a much grander scale because it seems to be involving not just the media, but now the Feds are involved in this entire thing. It's got to be so hard to win over there. That's probably what Ron Rivera's saying is, okay, so we had a trainer who was running his own dope operation. Yeah. What do you want from us, dude? Had nothing to do with us. I asked every player, did you take any of the dope from the trainer? They all said no.
We will meet there.
Decriminalized in D.C.
No, I don't think it's that dope.
Perks.
Yeah.
Oh, pills.
By the way, that's a big problem. I don't know, though. We have no idea. We're just assuming right now.
Yeah.
I don't know how the trainer or the building would be raided if it had nothing to do with the team.
I mean, would they maybe just looking for one person's computer in their files, maybe?
Well, let's say Ty was running something amok.
Ty.
Would they raid this office? Probably.
Absolutely.
Even if we didn't know about it, they would raid this
Take
place.
like every computer that he's been on, probably.
So that's potentially what's going on here then, right?
To make sure you didn't know about
Could
it.
be stashing it in there.
Yeah, because then we would be abating or
yeah, like if he was
Aiding and
stashing
abet-
something
aiding
in
and
there,
abating, yeah.
then they would be involved.
So that's what they're doing. They're actually, the feds were checking out to make sure that the Washington football team wasn't involved. And Ron Rivera said, to be clear, we were not involved. So that's good enough for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it says they raided his home and the team facility. This is his second year with the team. He used to be formerly with the Panthers.
You know, if they're,
Head
you
to
know
Carolina.
I'm not saying it because that's a terrible
What?
accusation.
No, come on.
What?
I'm not saying it. Let's go to another overreaction.
Come on now.
He's not saying it.
Oh, Boston Connor. Hashtag PMS Overreaction Monday. The Patriots are the greatest 1-3 team in the history of the NFL.
Hell yeah.
Not an overreaction at all. This is quite a vastly different conversation than we were having just yesterday. You got nothing but hope and faith in the Patriots.
Yeah, I feel great about it. Last week, all I was looking for was a close game, and that's what we got. I mean, people who are saying you probably should win for it on 4th and 3, I mean, there's nothing you can do about that because no matter what, we're going to lose, and Brady was going to go down and score. But, hey, Gilmore coming back in a few weeks. We got the Texans next week, big bounce back game.
They're coming out of a 40-0 buzzsaw loss to the Buffalo Bills. Did you see that, AJ?
Yeah, I remember. I think I said I think 17.5 is too many points on that spread, so I didn't take it.
Yeah, and I went the other way just because how many times are you able to say a team's going to cover 17.5 throughout the regular season? We got a chance to do it, and they did.
Yep.
And they did. It felt like the books were setting it up for us to think, oh, it's too much for whatever reason. I'm not saying the sports books know anything more than the Hammered Down Boys or anybody in here, but that just felt like 17.5 feels good. And little did I know that rainstorm would come through and old Davy Boy Mills would be fucked.
Yeah, no chance.
Absolutely fucked. So good for the Patriots, maybe getting a chance to get back in Nick Caserio a little bit who left the building and went down to Jack Easterby's squad.
Yeah, I'm absolutely all in on going down to Houston and absolutely burning that place to the ground. And then we got the Cowboys the week after, so that'll be a nice little test.
Hey,
Are the Patriots going to be able to score enough points, you think, to win a lot of games?
I mean, I don't know. I think the offense has gotten better damn near every week. And I think they were talking about this last night. I mean, more than half of the players that we have on offense is the first time they've been playing together. So Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith coming alive, that'll help out a lot.
Yeah, but also that defense, they're always going to keep you in, not always, but I think the thought is we'll keep you in the game. Let's just not make any mistakes and let's let the other team fuck up, you know? So they play good complimentary football out there.
Mm-hmm.
Good complimentary football out there.
I'm sure they're going to try to figure out how they can consistently run the ball as the season goes, too. They know they're going to need to lean on that a little bit.
How about Big Mike McCarthy and Dallas Cowboys down there? Speaking of running the ball, Zeke looked so good, man.
Yeah.
Skinny Zeke looked so good. He looked explosive. Now, Tony Pollard's getting a lot of conversation because Tony Pollard took on a mighty role last year after Zeke got hurt and did very well. So I think the conversation was, are they overpaying Zeke for whatever reason? I'm not saying they should have had this conversation. It was just happening because Tony Pollard had success. Zeke is still flying. Tony Pollard's making plays. Cooper's making plays. Dak seems to know everything. The defense is obviously eating. Do the Cowboys have it all figured out down there in Dallas? This is from Cuban Pete at Real Foch, F-O-U-T-C-H. Attention all Cowboys fan, now is the time to get our tickets to SoFi for the superb Owl 56. How about them Cowboys? Hashtag PMS Overreaction Monday. This is real. The Cowboys look very good, especially against a team that is also rather good. Without Christian McCaffrey, but still a good squad. Cowboys look damn good yesterday, AJ.
Hey, ballsy call, too, to ice the game when they run the option where Zeke is pitching. I'm like, man, a lot of things could have gone wrong. So they have a lot of faith in Zeke and their offense to actually run that. So, yeah, man, the Cowboys got to be feeling pretty good about where they are right now.
Big Mike slamming watermelons? Or is
Dan Quinn's getting a lot of, hopefully all the groceries are sold out of watermelons because he's just smashing them, not only on Saturday nights, but all throughout the week, maybe. Hopefully they have the old Gallagher plastic up for the first couple rows, though.
Go ahead and finish what you're going to say about Dan Quinn, because that defense looked dead. They looked abysmal. They looked shitty. They even came out last year, one of the players, and said, I can't run the whole game. Like, what do you want? Everything looked bad down there. Dan Quinn has come in. Trayvon Diggs coming in is obviously huge, but they look unbelievable flying to the ball around there.
Oh, man, and Micah Parsons, obviously, that dude's very versatile. He's rushing a passer off the edge. Like, he can do it all, and I think it's cool to see Dan Quinn getting some good pub. Like, he gets mentioned a lot because their defense does look drastically different than they did last year.
Night and day down there in Dallas.
Yeah.
If you're a Cowboys fan, I know you're forced to buy into the hype because you live in Dallas and it's everywhere. if you wear a jersey to the grocery store, you get 20% off. I mean, it's one with the city, but nationally, normally we're forced to buy into this Cowboys narrative. This year, it doesn't feel like it's as heavy. It doesn't feel like the Cowboys narrative is as big as it has been in years past, and this year might be the year it actually warrants it. You know what I mean?
Maybe. I think it should. If you feel that way about the Cowboys, you feel very good because of Dak. That's why it should.
Yes.
Yeah. Dak should instill a lot of confidence in yourself. If you're a fan of the Cowboys, I guarantee you those players and coaches, like, they just see how Dak is in complete control. He seems to always be calm. Like, nothing really throws him off. He is definitely the leader of that team and that offense. And, man, the more I watch him, the bigger fan I become.
Once again, we heard him in Hard Knocks use the word fuck, so we love him. And I think him and Mike McCarthy, and he's got a brand new model on his ankle.
That's right.
Yeah. Brand new wheel down there. Brand new spinners on that thing. He's flying. Yesterday he ran for like 20, I think. He looks like he has no hesitations. Like, for instance, Ben Roethlisberger, new offensive line. You could see plenty of times where he's in the pocket, but he wishes he wasn't. You know what I mean? Like, he wishes he was not where he was. Not confident at all. Dak is just planting off that thing, diving into it. I mean, he's a mental savage, I think, Dak Prescott. Absolute. Yeah. And Mike McCarthy is allowing Kellen Moore to do whatever the fuck he wants to do. I mean, Dan Quinn's got him flying around on the defensive side of the ball, and Bones in special teams. Last year, you picked them to go to the Super Bowl, and I don't know if you saw this coming or whatever. I don't think it's nearly the same team or coaching staff.
If Dak would have been healthy, they probably would have gone.
Well, especially with Sirianni fighting refs now, and who knows what's going on. Washington gets a massive win, and Heineke will be joining us here in a bit, but the Giants get out of the losing streak. I mean, the NFC East all of a sudden starting to heat up over there.
The Cowboys are head and shoulders the best team in that division right now, I think.
So good.
Yeah, because going into the season, too, there was all of the Washington football team. Like, it's their division now. Cowboys look very, very good.
Everything on paper is almost turning up. You know what I mean? Like, on paper, their roster is unbelievable. And now on paper, the roster that looks unbelievable is also making plays. So this is the difference between the years of hype and this year. Now, we're only on week 4, but it is Overreaction Monday, so we're allowed to say this. It's the best Cowboys team we've seen in 20, 30 years. This is the best team we've seen in a long time.
Hey, but are they peaking too soon, as the one person said earlier today?
How are they going to get better? How are they going to continue to ascend like all NFL teams have to throughout an NFL season? Because although you're winning in week 4, real football doesn't start till after Thanksgiving. We're back on the other side of this 4-minute break. Taylor Heineke will probably maybe join us in there as well. Can't wait to chat with him and you on the 5-Hour Energy phone line, 1-833-4McAfee. We'll see you then. Did you hear everything that was being said whenever you were potentially...
Just from you.
Oh, so you did hear it. Yeah. Okay, so let's address it.
Hold on.
All right.
You can be a hater.
No.
You can change.
Carson.
You can change. We can change.
No, at the moment I was at, okay, Carson. With the Daily Show, the live Daily Show, we can potentially get referred to as prisoners of the moment. You probably did hear me say some things. That was at a much different time.
Backtrack, Lily.
No!
It's cool. We're here face to face. You can change. People change, all right?
By the way, you are much bigger than I thought you were.
Oh, yeah.
When Jalen gets drafted there, was that the beginning of it all? Was there a miscommunication? What happened between you and Doug? Because they were saying it was fractured beyond repair.
Yeah.
What happened there? Is all of that accurate? Is that all kind of getting blown out of proportion?
Yeah.
And where did it start?
For one, I don't like to ever come out and say reporters aren't telling the truth because I don't. But
Orlovsky does it.
I'm not. I'm not going to dispute every report that's out there. The way the season went obviously wasn't ideal. When Jalen was drafted, that had no bearing on me. I trusted the organization. Okay. I signed that contract. I was devoted to them, and I felt like they were devoted to me. So I trusted the pick. That had no bearing on my confidence or my abilities. The season unfolded not how I would have liked it. Personally, I could have played better. We lost a lot of games at the end and just didn't fall into place the way we wanted. But there's a lot to learn from it, as a man, as a player, and all those things. And I have still a lot of respect for Coach Peterson, and I think without a doubt those reports are very exaggerated. Like I said, I don't hear a lot of them. They come to my attention from my agents or different things.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of respect for him, and it was unfortunate for everybody and how the whole thing kind of just went down.
There was a couple still shots that made its way around where you and Doug Peterson appeared to be giving each other a nasty look.
Yeah, I saw of those.
It's not true.
Not true at all.
Oh, you were not saying, I wish you died. With your life.
I don't even think I was looking at him in those shots. So I did see that. I'm like, of course they're gonna play this one up. They're gonna make a story out of anything. That's how it is. So, but yeah, that's not true at all.
Okay, so I'm happy to hear you weren't giving Doug Peterson death looks. Like, you never thought, like, oh, football isn't for me. Like, there was never a thought where I don't like football anymore. Or I don't want to be in this bullshit league anymore with this business. There was never a thought like that.
No, I mean, don't get me wrong. The way the season went, I mean, it was frustrating. And
People
so
have those moments.
that's why I stepped away, and it almost rejuvenated me. You know, it's almost like last year pissed me off so much. I want to come back in a different way and do everything I can. I am thrilled to be here and to have this new start, new opportunity. And community seems amazing. Fan base seems amazing. Like we said, it seems like the perfect fit.
Can we take a moment of silence for the first 2 to 3 years of Zach Wilson's career? Because all he's got going for him is Bob Saleh. That's it.
Moment of silence for his mom, who made her Instagram post. That's what I thought we were doing.
That's what I thought we were doing. Let's go to Chris and Indy. What's going on? Mrs. Wilson, hope everything's all right.
Yeah, she jumped out there, right, with some hot takes, and then
She got a fake mask she wears.
She
AJ.
does not like Hooters.
Not a fan of Disney.
She doesn't like
Or
Disney
Snapchat.
or Hooters.
Oh, there's going to be a bunch of Hooters running around Zach. She said enough of it. Not on that Snapchat.
This is the Pat McAfee Show on Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. We thank you for taking the time to seek out this small regional show that streams internationally. Here's Pat and the boys.
It's football season, baby, and you know what that means?
What?
It means we're going for two here.
Oh, boy.
All right.
Is this Bruce?
I don't know if it's Bruce. As long as it's not Urban, I think it's all right.
We love the football cliches.
Do you think that'll be like the new call for going for two?
Urban. Or if they want to go to shotgun, you know. Meyer. All right. It's football season, and you know what that means. It means we're going for two here with the sponsors of today's show, Manscaped. Blitzing through hairs has never been easier, and it's time you join the 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by going to manscaped.com/Pat for 20% off and free shipping. It's 3 and out the window with all the other trimmers. Now go tame that Wildcat offense in your pants.
Wow, yeah.
Good. The Performance Package 4.0 from Manscaped is the perfect package for your package and a key for great grooming and hygiene routine to make sure the boys downstairs are smooth like Tom Brady in the fourth quarter.
Oh.
The brand new Lawnmower 4.0 is here to take your defense to the next level. This 4th generation trimmer features a cutting edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin safe technology. There's no 15-yard penalty for this clipping. This package also comes with the Weed Whacker. The elite nose and ear hair trimmer is also waterproof and uses a 9,000 RPM motor-powered 360-degree rotary dual blade system. Say that 3 times.
Thing got a Hemi?
Yeah, it does, basically. Get 20% off and free shipping right now by going to Manscaped. What's that, the Weed Whacker, Dahn?
It's got a Hemi. Put it in the barn and make sure you pay $117,000 and never drive it.
All right. Well, you won't do that for Manscaped because right now it's nowhere near that amount of money. It's actually 20% off and free shipping by going to manscaped.com. 20% off and free shipping by going to manscaped.com/Pat. Stiff arm your pubes out of the playoffs this year with Manscaped.
And from the hills of Humboldt County, America's original smokeless pouch with CBD and cannabis in California, Canadips is excited to provide you excitement and joy all season long.
Let's go.
Maybe you're a Giants fan believing Danny Dimes is a franchise quarterback, or maybe you're a Pats fan wondering how Folk's game winner wandered left.
Wow.
Either way, when you're fighting off adrenaline at that level, there is nothing better than Canadips CBD to keep you cool, calm, and collected.
Hell yeah.
Stay focused for tonight's matchup in Los Angeles and grab yourself a can of Canadips CBD now. Go to CanadipsCBD.com and use promo code LIPBOOMERS for 20% off. CanadipCBD.com, code LIPBOOMERS for 20% off.
Reflection.
Ken Lips reminds me of CBD. You know what I mean? Had to do what I had to do there. Welcome back to the show here on Overreaction Monday, October 4th, 2021. It's been a beautiful day. We have covered damn near everything in the NFL. We'll be joined by Taylor Heineke here momentarily of the Washington football team, fresh off a massive win down there in Atlanta where their running back caught a pass from Taylor Heineke back across the field. And then he took off from the 5-yard line, dove, okay, crazy person, dive, incredible athleticism, and then knocked out a bound touchdown. They win. How you doing? Keep it moving. Joining us now, ladies and gentlemen, starting quarterback for the Washington football team. Once played in the XFL. Ooh. Also at Old Dominion. When undrafted in 2015, now he's leading NFL teams into Atlanta and getting wins. Ladies and gentlemen, Taylor Heineke.
Yeah, Taylor!
Let's go, dude. How you doing?
Good. How you guys doing?
Hey, all fucking hell is breaking loose around your building. Keep your eyes peeled, all right? Just stay in the football side of things, Taylor. Yeah. Don't say anything. Don't say anything. Yeah, smart, Taylor. Don't say anything. Obviously, you have nothing to do with anything that's going on in the outside world around the Washington football team, but I would like to chat about your journey here. I would assume last year, after how you played against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in playoffs, you were introduced to the world, by the way. I think we all learned of you quickly, loved your style of play. Going into the offseason, you get re-signed, you get a couple-year deal for the Washington football team. I don't know if you thought, like, hey, this is my team going forward or whatnot. They bring in Fitzmagic, who seems like the perfect almost mentor for you. He gets hurt early. Now it's your team. How has this been mentally for your time here with Washington? Have you been able to ride the roller coaster? Are you excited? Do you feel prepared? Has it been as expected or no way?
Yeah, this last year has been insane. You know, going from taking classes at ODU and thinking I'm not going to play football ever again to starting against Tom Brady in the playoffs, and here I am starting for the Washington football team after Fitz goes down week 1. So Fitz has been around the facility. He's done a great job of getting me prepared every week. That's just credit to him and the character that he has. So he's helped me out a lot. And again, we have a lot of dudes at receiver and running back, and that offensive line. I tell you what, they've played their ass off the last 4 weeks. So it's a collective effort, but hopefully we can get this ball rolling.
Hey, speaking of weapons, Terry McLaurin, like, how good is that guy, and what does he do that separates him from other receivers?
Yeah, they call him Scary Terry for a reason, and when you watch him run routes, they're crisp, he's fast, and when the ball's in his hands, he makes special things happen. So, with the addition of Curtis Samuel, we got Logan Thomas out there, and you got Hump at the F. So you got a lot of dudes out there, and when you see Scary Terry out there one-on-one, you want to give him a shot.
Yeah, you scrambled for your life and then threw one up as a fuck it, Terry's down there somewhere type feeling or play. It is, watching you is electrifying. You are awesome to watch, and you said Fitz has done a great job around there. Did you hear the comparisons of you to Fitz? Obviously, whenever Fitz was brought in, did you take that as a shot, or did you say, like, yeah, this guy is pretty similar to my style of play? You guys both seem to be incredibly intelligent. The grit seems to be insane. And obviously, your story is one that you're going to have to continue to earn people's respect, just like Fitzmagic. I assume you two are almost like a perfect pairing, and I don't know if Ron did that on purpose or not.
Yeah, I don't take that as a shot at all. The guy's been in the league for, 15, 16 years for a reason. So, hell, if I can do that, that'd be great as well. And, I grew up watching Brett Favre. So, watching him do the things out on the field for a number of years. I was a Green Bay Packer fan, so I was watching him every weekend. And, when I was watching him, he's the reason I fell in love with the game of football. So, I try to be like him, and you kind of see it out there on the field.
Oh, that's awesome to hear. Go ahead, Ty.
Taylor, have you had the opportunity to take a step back and realize holy shit, I was a backup quarterback in the XFL last year, and then I'm starting a playoff game, and now I'm a starter? Are you locked in on what you're doing right now? Have you had an opportunity to just kind of look back and be like, holy shit, I really have come this far in this short amount of time?
Yeah, I think I took that time this offseason after the Tampa game. Maybe a couple weeks to really kind of let everything soak in and kind of be proud of myself for being resilient and keep going at it. So again, I don't know if you guys seen the story, but I was living on my sister's couch, and they were pushing me. My brother-in-law was throwing a 50-pound vest on me every morning, walking the dogs 5 miles. So kudos to those guys. They really kept on pushing me when when I was down deep.
Yeah, did you grow up in Georgia? Was your sister and brother-in-law in Georgia where you were living on the couch and they got a chance to see the game obviously yesterday and we saw you get emotional in the post-game or presser or whatever? That's whenever, because you're not just a Madden character, you're not just a rating. There's a human moment that happens there, and I'm happy you got a chance to kind of take it all in yesterday.
Yeah, so, I'm from Georgia, and I bought a house down there, so we all live within 15 minutes of each other. And it was a really cool weekend. So my sister had her first baby about a week before training camp started, but I wasn't there for that. So I finally got to meet my little nephew Saturday night, and then my mom decided to take care of the baby so my sister and brother-in-law can come to the game and then get out of the house a little bit. So it was cool. Obviously the ending there was awesome for them to see, for them to experience, and again, it was a special moment there.
Hey, look at you! Yeah. Did you guys have a couple Bud Lights last night? What?
You see it right there?
Yeah, I did. I saw it immediately. I thought, wow, this guy is a fucking legend, dude, wearing a Bud Light hat onto this thing. You only drink Bud Light? Bud Light's your go-to, your drink of choice?
And now it is. It was cool. I come to the facility this morning, and I have, about 4 or 5 packages from them. And I start opening them up, about 6, 12 packs.
Woo!
A big Bud Light cooler full of merch. So nice little Victory Monday present there.
Hey, this is what it's like to be a starting quarterback in the fucking NFL, dude. Look at this. Bud Light's just sending them a bunch of stuff. What a life. Hey, look at you, guys. Yeah! Let's go. Good for you.
A little better than the XFL days. When you win, you get a little seltzer. But, here we go. We got about 60 Bud Lights to share with the guys.
What XFL team were you on?
I was on the St. Louis Battlehawks.
Hey, St. Louis, that fan base was insane over there. Who was the starter? The starter was Jordan.
Jordan
Ta'amu. He was a stud. He was almost like going to be – that team was loaded, I feel like you guys had. And then whenever that league stops, did you immediately sign? Is that whenever you thought about potentially having to hang it up forever? Or did your transition to the NFL take some time there?
Yeah, so, the XFL kind of called it quits, with COVID, and then
success. By the way, success. I think it should be remembered that it was a success, and then COVID kind of killed it. I think that should be said. Yeah, go ahead.
Yep. So then my first thing was, hey, I think I want to get into coaching. So I called Coach Scott Turner here because of our history in Minnesota and Carolina, and I said, hey, you guys got an open coaching spot? And he said, well, first things first, you got to get your degree, and just don't retire just yet. With COVID happening, you just never know what's going to happen. So. From there I went home, started training, and, I hate to say it, but, in the NFL you kind of hope for injuries and some weird things to happen. And, sure enough, Denver, that week they had no quarterbacks that could play and had a receiver playing. They brought me up to be emergency COVID quarterback. A couple things happen here and there. Alex Smith gets hurt and they throw me in. So, again, it's been a wild year.
Man, you're awesome. Enjoy the hell out of those 12 packs, pal. Go ahead, Connor.
Yeah, Taylor. For this offseason, how much different was it for you? Because you got the 2-year extension, and then you kind of knew you were going to be on the football team going forward. So, how much different was this offseason compared to previous ones where you didn't really know what your future was?
Yeah, it was a lot different. Obviously in years past, I feel like I just had 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and I'm just clawing my way to either make practice squad or the team. And this year, finally, I kind of get, a little bit of a signing bonus, some guaranteed money, and I finally felt like I had 2 feet in the door. Not to say that I was comfortable, but a lot less stress going into, OTAs and training camp. So a big weight was lifting off my shoulders for sure.
Hey, we know you seem like you're an absolute leader out there, and you have a lot of confidence in yourself. Did you know, eventually, whenever you did get your opportunity in the NFL, did you know that it would go this well? Did you have that self-belief?
Yeah, I know. I always know I can play the game. I had that confidence in myself, but it's going to sound kind of corny, but when you lay in bed at night and you're getting ready to go to sleep, you just close your eyes and you envision success. If I have this opportunity, how's it going to go? And I envision myself throwing touchdowns to guys, leading the guys down the field, and being put in that 2-minute situation where you go win the game for the guys. So that's happened twice this year, and hopefully we can have a game here or there where we're up by 20 and we don't have to really rely on that.
Yeah, well, every game I was part of, it felt like a cardiac arrest situation. I couldn't even fathom what it is at quarterback. Did you kill everybody at Old Dominion? You had to have, especially after watching you now. Did you guys win by 50 every single game? And how did you get overlooked so much, you think?
Yeah, I think I got overlooked just because of my size.
You're short guy.
Yeah, 5'11", 6 foot.
Oh. Is it 5'11" or 6 foot? Is it 5'11"? Because as soon as they announce 5'11", that is not great, right? Especially a quarterback position.
Well, I tell the ladies I'm 6'1", so
Smart. Put those boots on. Put those boots on. Yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, but going back to Old Dominion, we ran that hurry up old school Oregon offense where we spread them out. We had 10 personnel, we spread them out, a bunch of dudes out there, and we're just dinking and diming them. And then you had some fast guys out there that would run past some people. So I was throwing the ball 50 times a game, and we were scoring 50, 60 points a game. So it was a lot of fun there. We broke a lot of records, but again, NFL is a different game.
Absolutely. Diggs, go ahead.
Taylor, we talked a little bit about Alex Smith. What did you learn from Alex last year, and what was it like seeing him come back from the injury and finally getting to play again?
Yeah, so I knew of his injury. I knew it was pretty bad. But when I first got here, I went to the training room. I saw him getting treatment on it, and I saw his leg with no sleeve on it, and it looked like a damn shark bite. It was nasty looking, and so the way he approached every day, whether it was film, treatment, on the field, helping guys that he didn't have to help, he was just a true professional. So, throughout the years, I've taken a lot of things from different quarterbacks I've been with, but Alex was a cornerstone for sure of who I am today.
How do you feel about Ron Rivera? This is the last question, by the way. We can't thank you enough for joining us. I assume life is hectic as a starting quarterback in the NFL, especially after a big win. We appreciate your time. Ron Rivera, though, he's one of it feels like a staple over there. He's helping guide the future of the Washington football team. Last year there was a lot of question. It seemed like there was controversy around every single bend. Ron Rivera just seems like this consistent character, even after beating cancer and going through that entire thing. What is your relationship like with him? And it seems like he has never wavered. He's always the same exact person on the sideline, it looks like. Whether you guys are up or down, you just throw a pick, you get back in it. Like, he seems to be one of the most consistent people of all time. What is your relationship like with him?
Yeah, it's growing every week. Again, it goes back to 2018 when I was with Carolina. I was backing up Cam, but throughout the years, he does a great job of letting people be who they are. He just cares about when you're at the facility, you're focusing up, and it's all about football. And these guys really gravitated towards him. And, obviously that whole cancer thing last year, of him grinding through that, seeing him, continue to come to practice and grind through it. That gives people no excuse to go out there and not give it your all. So it's huge for us. He's a huge cornerstone for us. And, he's a great coach.
All right, man. We can't thank you enough for your time. Good luck with your Bud Light. Good luck with your season. Congrats on the success. You deserve it, pal, even though you're only 5'8" or whatever. We appreciate you so much, man.
Appreciate you guys.
No, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, Taylor Heineke. Thank you. It's unfair that they judge him for not being tall enough. The guy's a baller, AJ. It's bullshit.
I think it's changing. Guys like him are helping change the narrative. You don't have to be 6'4" and a big stand-up pocket passer anymore.
He's electrifying to watch. I mean, he is
The team rallies around him, too. That's what you notice right off the bat. Like, the team gets juiced when this guy is in.
Well, Chase Young was mic'd up last year, right, when Heineke was in?
Uh-huh.
And he said, this is what this guy does.
Yeah.
Like, he, ran out there and, hyped him up. He was fourth string? Is he fourth string, I think?
He might have been.
Behind Alex Smith, if you put Alex Smith at one.
Dwayne, Kyle Allen.
Okay. So he was fourth string. He goes in there. That playoff game, watching him, was like, how do they have this guy on the roster and not play him a long time ago? And then he gets 2-year extension, I think, for what, $8 million or $4 million or something?
I think, yeah.
8
2
million.
years, 4.5, I thought.
2 years, 4.5 for both, or for each year average?
I think total, but it seems like it should be more.
Yeah, it may be. But also, he was undrafted, so I assume as soon as they said to him, hey, you want to become a millionaire? Yep. All right, here you go. I assume that thing's going to happen, and they bring in Fitzmagic.
How is he a backup in the XFL? That's the thing. He didn't even get to start in the XFL.
Hey, Te'amu was a player.
You're right.
Jordan, that team was loaded. St. Louis was loaded.
That was the squad.
They were really
Who's the head
going.
coach?
It was the guy from the Bengals, I think.
2 years, 4.75.
So, I mean, he did get to buy a house. He said a little bit of signing bonus. Washington taxes over there, though. DC, Virginia.
Boy.
Oh, those taxes are very real over there.
Yeah.
Jonathan Hayes was the head coach of them.
Hey, Taylor needs to go out to if he's not playing in the Super Bowl this year, he needs to go to the Super Bowl and make all the cash he can on appearances, because this will probably be the first year. Maybe last year he could have done it too, but he can go make some money.
Yeah, he's great at conversation too, and I like the fact he's wearing a Bud Light hat, and also Yeah. Listen,
That was awesome.
this is who I am. All right,
Send
I
us
play
some can of
football.
dips.
I love it. Yeah, we need to get him off of that toxic shit and get him on some Canada Dip CBD dips. But big thank you to that dude for joining us. Good luck, man. Keep winning over there. Seems like that fan base is incredible. The building seems to be getting righted. Maybe.
We'll see.
He didn't say a single thing, by the way, when I
Yeah,
said
I know.
stay on the football side of things today, Taylor. Don't do anything. Because maybe I was going to get him to say, like, yeah, there's a lot going on around here. But there wasn't even that. He's like, no way. Yeah, I am a country boy from Georgia who is not supposed to be a starting quarterback this early. I'm going to go ahead and not say a fucking thing about the feds that maybe were in the building last week. Everybody can eat shit. I appreciate him for joining us. I appreciate you all for watching and listening wherever the hell you may be. Darius Butler in the second hour is fantastic. Always AJ Hawk from Columbus, Ohio is amazing. And boys, you crushed it today, boys.
Hey, you too, Pat.
AJ, anything to say to the? I did not. Anything to say to the Chris Mad Dog Russo listeners as he takes over the next hour on Sirius XM?
Chargers are my pick at -3 tonight.
I like the Chargers as well. Okay, so let's have an incredible Monday night. Chris Mad Dog Russo with Mad Dog Unleashed will be in a much better. Whoa!
Calm down.
Speaking of, Chris Mad Dog Russo will have a much better show than us. He's on the other side of this 6-minute break. We'll see you tomorrow for Aaron Rodgers Tuesday. Let's go Chargers!
Yeah, bulk up.
Chargers!
Go Boach.
Go Boach.
Come on now, Chargers!
Here we go. Here we go.
What do you say now, Boach?
Yeah, bring the lightning bolt, bring the electricity. Let's go and get this win at home on Monday Night Football in front of Steve Levy, Greasy, and Riddick. Okay, no Monday Night Man, and people are going to be saying a lot of stuff. Let's go, Boats!
Hey, here we go, Boats. Go, Boats.
Here we go now, LA. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go, LA. Here we go. Here we go, LA. Here we go. All right, AJ, let's go, huh? You, me, the boys.
Hey, stop censoring yourself and let us know what your theory was on what's going on in Washington.
I don't want to put this accusation on old buddy because it's a terrible one. But if they're seizing all computers he's at, right?
Subway.
Yeah, that's my immediate thought was Jared's the helicopter flying around Jared's house.
Yeah.
Up here in Subway being like, we didn't know. And they're like, well, we found out you didn't know because we went into all your buildings that he was in. So that's what I immediately thought. But that's a massive accusation. I mean, that is a huge accusation. You know what I mean? I don't want to say that. But if they're seizing all computers, it's like, well, what could be in there, I guess? A lot of things. Because you could keep your sales records, too, if you were
Financial, financial stuff, all of it. Yeah, you never know. It could be anything.
Shiny flakes.
Hey, how about that kid?
Man, weapon.
Pretty good.
Unbelievable. Unfucking believable. Did you watch the Soprano movie?
I didn't. Is it a movie or is it a series?
Movie.
It's a movie.
It's a movie.
I did not. Is it good?
Well, The Sopranos itself is a series. And
This is a prequel movie to the series.
Which I didn't know that Dickie was that much older in tone. You know, I didn't really. See, I never watched The Sopranos.
Oh, you watched the movie?
So I tried to watch the movie.
Classic.
I knew nothing. We got about 10, 15 minutes in. My wife fell asleep. I continued to watch it. She woke up 5, 10 minutes later, yelled at me, said, you can't watch this right now. We never watch anything in the middle of football. So we're going to finish it probably tomorrow night, or Wednesday night or whatever. But I'll tell you what, I was confused pretty early. I was confused pretty early. But people were hating on her or whatever, I guess the Soprano fans were. I didn't think it was that bad. That was pretty good.
Yeah, I've seen it pretty split. Either it's like people are saying it's unbelievable or people are saying it fucking
Great
stinks,
acting.
So.
They nailed some of the mannerisms of the characters with the younger actors.
His son did it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard he's getting big reviews. Do you know? Like, did he?
Yeah, he was awesome.
Great.
Who played the little one that I've seen?
So James Gandolfini's son plays young Tony, and
that little tiny kid.
No. So that was a different kid. They age him later, and
yeah, I assume there's another chapter. This happened in the Crown when my queen retired. and They went to a new queen.
That's right.
Yeah. That's not my queen. It's tough.
Yeah, it's tough when they get older and then they got to switch the actors out. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, for me it doesn't because that's not who I've been watching this whole time. Well, we can't do it because we'd have to wait literally 20 years to make it. Well, fucking tell me when it's done.
Oh yeah, they could CGI him just like they CGI'd Robert De Niro to make him look younger in The Irishman.
Taller.
Just make him look older.
Yeah, great movie.
the guy who played Aaron Burr, from Hamilton, had a pretty good role as well.
Really? In the Sopranos thing? Really? He also played Judas, right?
I think so.
In the John Legend Jesus.
Of Iscariot.
Just in the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
No, it was when he killed the Judas guy.
Oh,
That was the room where it happened.
No, that's Hamilton. I seen that.
about,
Obviously, I'm cultured. John Legend was Jesus Christ.
Yes, you were.
Jesus Christ Superstar.
Yeah,
There it
John
is.
Legend was Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
In a musical?
Yeah, on TV. He wore all white, too. It was an interesting thing, and I learned a lot about it. I think it was Christmas Eve, maybe. I learned
Probably.
about or maybe Christmas night. I'm not 100% sure.
It was Jesus Christ Superstar live in concert.
There it
Bingo.
is.
John was Jesus, and I believe Aaron Burr, my Aaron Burr, was actually Judas or whatever.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, my Aaron Burr. He's good.
Tough roll.
Yeah, you're Judas and Aaron Burr. Killed Hamilton and Jesus.
Yikes.
Guy played it well, though. I think he was a method actor, too.
Oh, okay.
Alice Cooper was in that?
Yeah, he was singing. I forget what he did. He did something near the death. It was near the death scene he was part of. Which was done by the Italians, by the way. People forget. The Italians killed Jesus.
I don't forget.
Let's go to the 5. What's that?
No.
They were hired.
Still did.
That guy, Pontius Pilate, was from like modern day Georgia over there.
He wasn't from
Doesn't
Italy?
matter.
Was it still considered Italy or no?
It was the Roman Empire, which is not considered Italy.
And the sun
the
never,
Romans,
They were-
they were their
the
own.
sun
were
never set
Italian.
on the Roman Empire.
Yeah, well, that was actually said about the British Empire, I believe. I'm not sure it was ever said about the Roman. Was it as well? I don't think so.
In my head, it was.
Okay, respect.
It was the Italians.
Hey, Rome wasn't built in a day, but they
Georgia,
didn't have
not
anywhere
Georgia.
near the amount of machines we have now.
That's right.
You know, I always hear that, you know, when somebody's like, they got to build something. How long is this going to take? Well, you know, Rome wasn't built in a day. I was like, well, they also didn't have the fucking blueprint and
Nope.
10 trucks and everything like that. So I think it's a much different day than when Roman was. And to be honest, did they even know what a day was at that time? I'm not sure. So let's go ahead and put that one to sleep there. Hey, can we visit something again real quick?
Yeah, the Cuomo brothers for Diggs or what?
No, similar, but for you. Why'd you get so uncomfortable with the Urban Meyer conversation? You had to know. You had to know.
I actually didn't. No, I really don't.
Yeah, you
not
did.
uncomfortable. I was more uncomfortable when I had to cover Urban at Big Ten Media Days when he was going through the whole his last situation in Ohio State, and he went to the press conference, like was talking about the whole thing, and then came and we interviewed him on Sirius right afterwards. Like that was awkward and weird. And
What were you covering up for him
This
then?
one's not.
It was interesting. Were you shilling for him then, or did you not ask?
I'm not
him?
shilling for him now. What do you? I told you. Like,
No, you didn't. I'm just saying. But
Oh,
back
how
then
the
it sounded like.
turntables.
But you know, the tables did turn there. The thought of, what I know of Urban Meyer, I guess. I know of Urban Meyer. Like you think about all these situations that have happened with Urban Meyer, and you go like, oh, we know who he is. And then like something like this happens, and we hear him speak, and then he's doing his thing, and it's like, Urban is a dog.
Wild man.
Urban is he is a animal, that guy. Hey, I'm out of here. I'm done with this place. Let's leave. I'm done with this. I'm doing this. I'm going out doing my thing. I'm not flying with the team. I'm the head coach. I'm doing this. This guy is a animal, Urban Meyer. Huh? I didn't know that.
I mean, especially like just how public it was. He knows he's in the public. Like it seemed definitely out of character. Like he had to have some awareness of what's going on around you,
Well,
and
he's
you knew like
blacked
this
out.
is not
Whoa.
probably not going to end well.
Look like it.
Yeah, guy's drunk as shit.
He had too many pints.
Too many,
Couple.
yeah.
Too many
Yeah,
Urban
one too many
cocktails.
pops.
Remember when he was in that boat party?
Well, yeah, I was just about to say this follows up with some other stuff that obviously goes like, all right, so Urban is not scared to be like, yeah, let's fucking go. Huh, boys?
Not at all.
What about his speeches? Because everybody says he's a good speaker, you know? Think about his speeches to his boys whenever people are thinking about maybe calling it a night or whatever. And Urban's like, no, we are going to continue to go.
You see these fingers?
We are going to, you know what I mean?
Watch what I'm about to do.
What a maniac.
Follow me, boys.
I feel so bad, literally, that we have to talk about it, but we have to. I mean, what are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to do?
I mean, it's giant. It was giant news all over the place.
I didn't want to. Like, immediately, I didn't send my tweet. I just said, I can't wait to talk about this on Monday. And everybody was taking their shots. You know, I mean, jokes were flying.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, jokes were flying. And I
day.
resisted the urge. Even though at one point in my existence, Urban Meyer did take a shot at me unprovoked out of nowhere for no reason. Never met him. We've buried it. Okay, we are past it, obviously. But whenever this whole thing happened, I stayed away. But then as more angles are coming, and then his answers this morning about, I just shouldn't have went to the dance floor or whatever. It's like, that is not where this whole thing began, I think, there.
No.
Urban, I don't think.
No. Now more videos are dropping. It wasn't the dance floor that got Urban
We're
Meyer.
in the middle of week 5. You're in the middle of week 5 of your rookie head coaching season here. You know, like that is my thing, AJ. You know, as you squirm a little.
Absolutely. Like I said, bad timing, bad optics. You couldn't have come at a worse time for you after coming off that Thursday night loss. And then we hear everything about, oh, he stayed in town. It's not a good look. I doubt he's going to be staying in the future. He's going to be staying in any cities that they play.
Yeah,
He'll come back with a team.
I think he's potentially going to be selling that pint house.
Yeah, I would say.
I don't know.
Rebranding it, maybe.
I think it may be as crowded as ever now.
Well, I agree, but I mean, I think it's going to be tough for him to go back in there and not just think immediately about, I love this place.
Oh, I remember.
It is bad for me. Every time I come in here, I can only think of one thing, and that one thing is not necessarily great for me and my family. Or
Squeezing butts.
I don't know if it's so much of a squeeze as it was a goose.
That's a good point.
Because it was
Quack, 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 quack. What's the name of the bar?
Urban Meyer Pine House.
Okay.
What were you going to call it?
I wasn't sure if it was something like Gooses or Urban's Goosin' or something like that.
Watch your bunghole.
Urban Meyer Wiener, maybe. Something along those lines.
My baloney has a first name. It's URBAN.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Everybody fucking stop it. All right?
No. We did an entire fucking 40 minutes on Ben last week. We could go more.
That is true. But Ben was about Jesus. This one is not. It's about the absence of.
No, he needs to find.
That's right. Let's go to the 5-Hour Energy phone line. I'm sure they're pumped about that. Let's go.
if Timmy was on the team, you think this would have happened?
No way.
Nope.
No way, dude. And that's something I think about. This poor decision started, months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if Tim would have been able to learn how to block quicker, this whole thing.
That's right.
Yeah, he'd be watching over him. And maybe if he took a page out of Ben's book and just bopped his baloney in the hotel room.
How about him also just thinking, one last time with the boys here. We can go to Columbus, a college town.
Yeah.
Middle of the season, just with the boys here, stop by, have a little dinner, see the grandkids. Come on, one last time, boys. Then one thing leads to another. A
couple shots.
Hey, Urban, you want to go to the dance floor? Yeah, I do actually. Let's go to the dance floor. That's what happened,
Well, I think he put on that Ohio State quarter zip, and he just felt like, hey, this feels
back,
good.
baby.
I feel comfortable.
I'm back, baby.
We're
undefeated
I didn't have
again.
near as many issues back here.
We're undefeated again. Yeah. Give me the whistle, too, dude.
Who they playing next week? Because it's time to put the village on whoever it is.
Titans, right?
Titans?
Yeah.
They need to hand the ball off to Derek fucking Henry the entire game.
Hey, Braves worked for Urban, too, at Ohio State.
Oh, so Braves been to the Pine House, you're saying?
I don't know, because it's open. Braves was already the head coach of Tennessee when this opened. Maybe when he was back in town, he did.
Well, was his grandkids in town?
Luckily for Urban, it is in Jacksonville, too.
It's in Jacksonville? Yeah. Jacksonville media was trying hard not to. I mean, they had to ask the first question, but that had been a difficult Zoom call to sit through and hear him talk about football stuff.
Oh, yeah.
We do not care, okay, how everybody's buying into the loss after a Thursday. Urban, we got a couple questions here. Do you care about being a Jacksonville Jaguars head coach? I truly care. Yeah, I was very sorry, and I hate seeing us lose. My head spins something. Then why were you blacked out at your Pine House this weekend? Why not watching film? Why aren't you watching film? You have a bye week coming up. This is just a Thursday night football thing. That's my big thing, is I think the message it sent, obviously what he did, he's going to have to deal with it. That is public. Everything's public these days. You do something like that in a bar, that's going to happen. He should have known that, obviously, that whole thing. But football-wise, it's like, I'm not sure Bill Belichick after a Thursday night game is going something by Pine House and staying back and letting the team fly on a plane. That's what my questions would be about, if I'm Jaguars.
That's good news. The game's in Jacksonville. He won't be tempted to stick around in Nashville, maybe hit up Broadway, get a Tootsie's.
He's actually he's in London in a couple weeks. We'll see how that goes.
London game this weekend.
I actually thought he was potentially at Jack's Beach when I first saw that video, because Jack's Beach, pretty good time. And then they're like, no, he's actually at his bar. I was like, okay, all right, even better. This guy, just an animal of a man. He's retired for a bit. But that is a big question. Like, is Andy Reid, okay, is Bruce Arians? Bruce Arians will have a cocktail or two.
Oh, yeah?
All right, Bruce Arians is not scared of a cocktail or two. It's just, I think that's the bigger message. Like, when I got in trouble, everybody was like, oh, he's not focused on kicking balls. He's out on a Tuesday of bye week. This punter's doing this. It's like, okay, all right, maybe that's the case. Maybe you can't kick balls all day, and maybe you can't watch film all day, but the optics of a head coach just in the middle of a season in the first year where you're trying to build the culture is doing that. I think that is the bigger story here, football-wise.
Oh, absolutely. Like first year head coach, like what kind of message does it send not only to your players, but ownership and everyone that brought you in? It just the worst case. Like it couldn't have gone much worse for him, I feel like, after that loss.
Should have went to the dance floor, man.
Shouldn't have went
to all it is. I don't dance. I'm a good slow dancer.
I bought. Oh, I thought you were going to say, like.
Do the rock away.
Lean back.
Lean back. Lean back. Do you do that, Pat? When people try to get you on the dance floor, do you go?
No. I'm never at a place where there's a dance floor really prevalent. You know what I mean? That's
what about
what
a wedding?
A wedding, I mean, I'll go. Yeah, you got to go. Foxy danced, I guess, for 10 hours yesterday.
Oh, it was so awesome.
What was it?
My best friend's Chaldean, and so everyone in there, they're Middle Eastern, and so their weddings are wild, extravagant, and literally they do not stop dancing for the entire time.
I'm so jealous. That would have been awesome.
It was so fun.
A Sunday wedding?
Yeah.
Nice.
Trust me.
In the middle of football season. What?
I know.
What are you saying?
Come on.
Whoa.
What are you saying, Foxy?
That's how close of friends me and him are.
Okay.
Bonded at birth.
But also that is why. What was it?
What was that?
I just want to make sure everybody knows that was at Viva
What does that
Lazito,
mean?
I believe. There.
That was a Bane quote.
Yeah.
It was not.
You're a Bane. You're being Bane there.
That was Bane. Yeah.
Fascinating. Anyways,
It's not anything he ever said.
I heard the wedding though was incredible, and I'm jealous of that. So I would go to the dance floor then, but you're not normally going to find me at a place where a dance floor is at. Also, shout out to Urban Meyer having a dance floor at his place. You know,
Classic.
I didn't expect.
I don't
that.
know if there is. I haven't seen a dance floor there. Maybe it was set up differently.
Oh, so he wouldn't lie, would he?
No, I don't know if he was sitting during that picture. He said in his press conference, some people next door asked me to take a picture. I should have got out of there. Was he in his bar during the video, or was he next door?
I thought next door had like the table next door where he was eating with his family. I didn't know it was potentially the bar next door. That's a whole different ballgame.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I might have to go down there and scope it out today.
Yeah, please do.
Please do, yeah. And if you could ask,
You think they're doing like local stand up from the news, like outside?
bro. Whenever I was,
But you got arrested though. He didn't get arrested.
I mean, I agree. I completely agree. Public intoxication, obviously, a gruesome.
I'm not saying you should have been arrested. I'm saying though, but you did get a mugshot.
Yeah, they went scene of the crime in Indianapolis, live all day, scene of the crime or whatever, from where they guessed that I potentially went into the canal, which was made up by the police. They have their story. I have mine. I had a hole in my eardrum. I would never want water.
No.
You don't know how bad my eardrum was. I literally didn't swim for 9 years of my life. I wouldn't have done it whenever I was drunk. No matter
Did your
what.
eardrum hurt the day after?
No. But I did have water damage on my phone. So
Shit.
it must have rained very hard.
Pouring. You might have dropped it in a puddle.
That I would assume they're going live, or if not, internet sources are going down there and doing one shots. You know what I mean? Blogs are probably blowing up over there. Bill, what's going on, pal?
So I looked up some photos of Urban's Pint House. I didn't see a dance floor anywhere, but I caught their menu, and I was going to ask AJ if Shelly's shrimp and grits are really good, or like Urban's Smelly Fingers.
All right, Bill. Thank you, Bill. Hey, Bill. All right.
All right, Bill.
All right.
Bill's been sitting on that one for a while.
I fucking love it, though. Bill came in here and took his shot. Shout out to you, Bill.
Good for you, Bill.
I don't believe those are on the menu, though.
No, I do not.
Chicken tenders.
Oh, they're chicken tenders, he said.
The chicken tenders.
The burger looks really good, by the way. I'm looking right now.
All right. Let's get out of here. The Hind Den.
I'd eat Urban's booty fingers for sure, though.
Oh,
now that we're thinking about it.
You probably have them deep fried, huh? Is that what you're saying?
Air fry. Gotta keep them healthy.
Yeah, of course.
General Bob usually does a show from there on Thursday nights.
That
There's like
makes
this Ohio State
complete
show
sense
there.
now.
That's awesome. Was General Bob there? I didn't look in the background enough. I assume I would have seen General Bob.
I don't know.
I
don't think General Bob was there, but I'm sure he is. He is up to date with everything going on.
He knows every person in that video.
Yeah, of course.
Bob was there.
Does everybody in Columbus know everybody in that video by this point?
No, I don't. Does anyone knows who the girl is? I haven't heard anyone talk about her.
We are not going to say the name, but the internet has found it, I believe. But not just the dudes though that were there. Is that a community of people in Ohio? Do you know those people? Are those all Urban's guys? You think? Who is it?
I recognize a few people in there. Yeah.
Who are they?
Buddies. His buddies.
Oh, so that's Urban's crew.
The boat crew?
Is
Some
it
of
the
them,
boat
I
crew?
don't know if the boat crew is. I don't know who that is. But
Only knew we're a part of Urban Meyer's boat crew. If your bar only knew that we're coming around and finger gunning booze. Tease.
If you look close in the back, you could see Sean the MILF Hunter Reese standing next to
All right. That's the show. That's the show. What a guy. That was dial-up internet guy.
Oh, yeah. He actually opened his own bar after retiring as well, so I believe that's where Urban got the idea from.
All right, everybody. Thank you for watching the show. I really appreciate it, man. I hope you come back tomorrow. It'll be better then. We got another edition of Aaron Rodgers Book Club coming tomorrow.
Hell yeah.
The last book that was offered up in the book club was a sideways book.
Yes. Interesting.
I wonder if Aaron will go back to this style of book next. I don't know. What will tomorrow bring? There he is. Hey!
Is the whole book that way?
Yes.
No. That's the whole thing. Listen,
Majority.
don't expose
Majority.
yourselves as guys that haven't read the book, please.
I only read the picture part, which is that way.
So it goes this way, all right? So it sets up who and what a Ram Dass is. Okay? Right?
Yep.
What and who is a Ram Dass here? Then it gets to these.
What is that? Can you tell me?
Just an incredibly deep-thinking human, okay? One who is obviously pumped about you freeing yourself and living one with the universe. And if you listen to some of his writings, okay, AJ, there is writing happening. Maybe that's hard for you to understand, okay? I am here, but I am not here. I am writing, but I am not writing. Inside of me in the heart cave is a mantra going on that reminds me who I really am over and over again. In this inner place, I am. And even as I write where this mantra is going on, I'm just watching with great awe and wonder the awesome drama of nature unfold before my very eye. Before that I which sees all and knows all, and on inside goes. Aman Ni Padme Hum, always bringing me right to my heart where I dwell eternally.
Wow.
And you would never fucking understand that, AJ, because you never read a book that's some bitch is sideways. Okay? You wouldn't get it like me and Ram Dass.
I mean, hopefully we can have these little readings. Like maybe every day you do a quick little reading from one of the books.
Nobody is going anywhere. Nobody is coming from anywhere. We're all here. We're all here. In eternal time and space, we're always going to be here.
This book sounds exhausting to read.
It is.
You wouldn't get it, AJ.
You've never read a book that's fucking sideways. You have no idea what you're talking about, dude.
I would love to watch you sit on a plane or something and try to read this and watch you flip it back and forth. Like, what is? Oh, that would be awesome.
What did he just say? He didn't say the same. He said he had to have. I heard that once before. I had to have, didn't I? And the funny thing is, you're still not finished. And as far as the Buddhist is concerned, you haven't even begun the trip you're still hung up on from. Fucking get over it. Whew.
I love
Get over it.
CD-ROM, MS-DOS.
I don't know what that means. That was an older computer joke, I think. But once you see through that, desires can't help but fall away. Just live your fucking life, all right? And tomorrow, live your life with us on Aaron Rodgers Tuesday.
Hell yeah.
Okay? Gonna continue to learn, continue to chit-chat. And he had an incredible game this past weekend.
Yes, he did.
I didn't get to see about quarter and a half of it.
Yeah.
Because Titans-Jets obviously went to overtime. But, I mean, I got a lot of questions. I even wrote down in my notes section some shit to ask about.
Uh-huh.
Nice.
I'll give him a little heads up on what one of them is going to be about here as I visit the notes section here. How do you know who's coming and who isn't in those exotic defenses?
Ooh.
How do you know? You know, that's what I'm going to ask him. How do you know?
Man, you never know who's coming.
Well, it seemed like he got once. Mm-hmm. They brought somebody that he didn't know, and then it didn't happen again. You know, fool me once, shame on me. Yeah. Fool me twice, you don't get fooled again.
Can't fool me
Devin
again.
Bush
Can't
came
fool me
through
again.
untouched, and then it didn't happen.
Didn't happen again.
Nope. Still not blitzing a lot, even though the entire D-line is out with an injury. It's kind of confusing. To be honest.
Whoa. Are you guys questioning the coach in there?
Whoa.
Wow.
Whoa, Pittsburgh's in a bad spot.
Not me.
What's that all about?
I didn't question it. That's Nick.
Maybe you should.
How close to 100% is TJ?
It didn't look like it.
He didn't look like he had the same burst.
No.
Didn't look
It's a groin, right?
Yeah, but he also had his one ankle taped as well.
The groin, though, is everything.
It's like the start and stop. I've done my groin. I couldn't start and stop. So once I got moving, I just had to keep cruising by. I couldn't stop and making quick movements. It's terrible. It's actually a terrible situation.
It's one of those annoying ones too, right? Just shows up and stabs you real quick if you're trying to do something.
You can't. Yeah, it's like, okay, I can't run. You can't move. It just absolutely yanks your whole leg off. It feels like.
Urban was protecting his.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Arm down.
I'm down. All right.
Very protected.
Very protected. All right, let's get out of here. We're back tomorrow, Aaron Rodgers Tuesday. You guys are the best. Cheers.